Hey everyone, I'm Tassenix and welcome to Plotting and Scheming. This is for season 81, 5 versus 5 Grand Arena Championship. We are in the preview episode here. We're hours away from lock-in for week 1. I am joined by the full regular cast. We've got Dagger. Say hi, Dagger.
Hey guys, I appreciate that you wanted to add you said you wanted to have 5 people who had done at least one fight in the last week, so I'm glad we found a way around that since you hadn't.
Okay. Random shots. So that's the voice of
Hmm.
Dagger. Appreciate you. TJ, we've got TJ here. How you doing, TJ?
Good, man. Looking forward to a good discussion.
Awesome. Awesome. Sasha Aisha, how's it going?
Doing great, Tess. Doing great. Glad to be here.
Fantastic. Fatal, how are you today?
Doing well. I'm
Here.
not sure what to expect from this season, but hopefully it's fun. I don't think I'm going to be playing a whole lot.
Yeah, I'm worried about it. I'm worried because you got cool teams. So, in other words, more teams and the same small board. So, I have my own concerns, but I hear you. I hear you. And it is our pleasure to have a special guest once more. It's been a while since we've had him. He's a top Grand Arena player, an up and coming, GAC mind in his own right. It is Vexitron. How are you?
What's up, Tass? I always look forward to coming back to plotting and scheming just to talk to a bunch of players that are better than me, that are big brain. Always a good time.
Pleasure to have you again. Guys, we have quite a bit to discuss tonight and an unusually large number of questions from the patrons. So we got to get cracking, processing on. First item, guys. Week 1 preparation in terms of remods and relics. Guys, I have been going crazy. So crazy that I have made a tab for all the stuff I've been working on in the last week. Yeah, I took Dagger's suggestion at the dawn of the off week. Fishing for a Relic 10 to apply. I had the itch, and so we did it to Bam. Tweaked his mods a bit, got him over 90,000 health, 13.5 offense, and 301 speed, of course. EKM's at 300 now. Fatal, you reminded me of the benefits of a very fast maul, and it's been so long since I've thought about that. I've been kind of grumbling with the quality of the offense set that I've had to force him into as I've had to chip off of that, month after month. And decided to just completely throw caution to the wind, go back to high speed. We're at 375, just under 90,000 health, and just over 10,000 off. Kickstarted, flying. Oppo achieved the dream. That's 3 health primaries and a crit damage triangle, 95,000 health, 330 speed, 11,000 offense. And yeah, 76% crit chance. It'd be nice if it was higher, but all in all, they're awesome. Just, finally managed to find the fast health primary to put on the arrow. So huge life total on CX2. Huyang, Relic 10, improved mods, 95,000 health, 323 speed. Full crit damage set bonus with the triangle, and over 10,300 offense at 102% crit chance. He is going to be great, buddy. Let's see. Yeah, Django just got a tune-up in general. Mostly still keeping him in what is typically the trench mods. This way, the flexibility is mine. Not that I think I would choose to do the trench team over the Django team, but I think that's something we'll discuss a little later. Still, over 10,300 offense, crit damage set, 275 speed for 100,000. Marok got the Relic 10 treatment, over 10,000 special offense, and 60% special crit chance is kind of the sweet number for him to find. Sorty got the offense treatment, just over 300 speed. I think I briefly covered this before, but this one was really recent as well. So that's the tune-up this set. Fatal, I finally found the accuracy arrow, and I have been looking. This is obviously not the best rolls ever imagined, but it's giving exactly what I need that I can compensate for its weaknesses with other mods. We have the desired profile otherwise, crit damage triangle, prot, defense. I think you're all defense, but I still have the crit damage. Over 10-5 offense, 120% crit chance, got the 40% accuracy, living the dream. I did do the Relic 10 crosshair. Temple Guard finally zeroed out the speed. So that's just long overdue. What else? And yeah, Great Mothers. I found myself after some other remods having a glut of really randomly fast mods, not having an otherwise purposeful home. So we gave them a tune-up. She's 364. Morgan is 363. And then Spirit has gotten a serious tune-up based on discussions with folks in the server. We improved the crit chance to over 150%, and I am over 12,100 offense at 272 speed, crit damage triangle. Savage. There may be few, if any, Ezras that can evade him, or her rather. At least early on, he'd have to ramp some serious mastery. And then, yeah, I took your advice, Fatals, for the crit chance. I did my best to kind of keep this still defense health profile. Just sought out a lot more crit chance through secondaries. So here we are, just under 98%. And I do have the mind somewhere, maybe towards the end of this season, maybe within the next couple of seasons, taking this character to Relic. That should patch in there. That's it for me. Dagger, how about you?
I mean, that long list, and then that's it? Yeah, I didn't do shit.
You bum. You disgust me. That's why I front-loaded mine, because,
I ran my template last week of 3v3, and, yeah, haven't R10'd anything.
Fair. Very fair.
We don't get new units that frequently, or we get them like once a era now, so I only have to update my mods like once an era.
Your sloth disgusts me, but I acknowledge you. Thank you. TJ, how about you? What have you been up to?
Mine's kind of simple. I took a couple 10s at the end of 3s, and then I've honestly played towards the DCs. Thank God my sortie's been 9 before it was cool. So that's an easy Relic 9 that gets to stay. I'm seeing a lot of guys want to go to 10 for obvious reasons, but I'll be happy to keep that. The only one I updated, it's been forever. Django went to 9. He's been 8 for, oh my God, years. So I finally get to actually put some love into him. And I know we're going to talk about him, but other than that, I don't know, because I know during this time, and we're talking about it now, we're going to have, what is it? We're going to have the new team coming along. I can't even think of what the new thing is, but with the new Conquest unit and that whole setup. So it's like, I don't want to apply like a mass, just like flux of relics yet, because I expect we'll probably have some fun with that team when the time comes. So I'm kind of just holding it up. But yeah, Django being the 9, I thought was just easy money, because whatever we're going to have for him, I know that team's going to be a lot of fun.
Very fair. Sasha, how about you? What have you been up to this week? I'm sure you've been just working your hands to the bone during this off week, as you famously do.
That's right. I seem to be the only one. Well, maybe Dagger and I are brethren here, but you got to take the off week seriously. And I have been very seriously off. So, yeah, not much. In fact, what I've been doing, even in Conquest, is just grinding this huge accumulation of Datacron mats. And I rolled up a few really early on, but I have sitting on like 100 million data cache and like several thousand of all the different materials to roll up a bunch more that I'll probably do in the next 24 hours, because I'm just coming off of like a week long game slumber, at least. I had travel and a bunch of other stuff going on personally, so not a ton on my front. All that being said, like with the resources accumulated, I am keeping a bit of a reserve for the Cobb Vanth squad that's going to come a week from now. But with a few R8 to R9s that I do plan to make in the next 24, R9 to R8 to R9, some R9 to R10s that I plan to do in the next 24 hours. And TJ touched on one that is at least tantalizing, probably not totally worth it, but that hasn't always stopped me before, and that's a Sortie R10.
Mm.
Considering I haven't done it, but it's theoretically tempting, practically probably not the best call. So that's me, Tass.
That's fair. I mean, it's probably going to be really interesting for the length of this. Do it now if you're going to do it, right? As soon as you can probably use it.
Yeah,
Right now, fine, but you'll feel goofy about
diminishes
it
quickly.
in 3 months.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I see that it buys wins, I'll definitely consider it.
Sure.
Like for a competitive advantage. But yeah, I'm with I considered it, and I mostly
Yeah.
dismissed Datacron relics just because especially now they're going to 3 months, not 4. But yeah, that definitely put on my maybe list for this season because I have a couple. I think I have 3 or 4 now saved.
My little bit of copium that I'd have stashed away if I did it, that I could draw on if needed in the future. Hopefully, I'm using that term right because I don't think I've ever used it before. But would be, well, Ben always likes VIP, doesn't he? So maybe at some point, Sortie will get another use. Who am I kidding? I know that's a foolish afterthought, but big numbers are fun, and making big numbers slightly bigger would be even more fun, right? So anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did you remod her? Or have you not yet?
Offense. So yeah, I did this actually like right when these Datacrons came out,
Mhm.
and I will say I ran like a bunch of testing and looked at a bunch of stuff and found what was I think an optimal sort of burst damage comp that I don't think is what I would use. That would actually take Hu Yang off of Spectre as well. If you were going to do burst damage Sortie lead and have Hu Yang clocked ahead of Sortie, which then you got to factor in her lead for an Ultroid. And although actually I think the highest that I had looked at was going to involve Queel as well. So I looked at all this different stuff kind of, and with Sortie, I decided let's just go heavy punch. And so moved a ton of offense to her. I don't know that I'll use Queel. My Queel's R8, but I moved Queel to offense as well for his unique and the contribution that he makes to droid offense. And that's what I was. And he doesn't get mechanic savvy off before if it's a droid team with BB-8, but he would if it's a Ray team. But and he's fast enough. But anyway, so that was the stuff I was kind of looking at. Happy to go into more of it later, but
For sure.
that's that, and I know in previous things we talked about my Django thoughts, but we'll take a deeper dive into Django in a bit because I think there's some rich material there.
Very good. Very good. Appreciate that. All right, Fatal, what have you been cooking on here for remods and relics going into week 1?
I'm kind of stuck in a lot of ways at the moment. First off, I mean, this is very specifically an in-game issue that won't affect most people, I imagine. But hey, is anybody running into droid brains being the absolute worst at the moment?
That's my constraint
Yeah.
consistently, but that's also because that's something I put a ton of pressure on, and it's the thing that I get the least thrown at me of all of the other materials that I need for Relic 9 or 10.
I haven't been applying very many R10s, so I'm still pretty good on droid brains.
So I'm gonna align, but what I did, Fatal, is I've shifted all of whatever the and I don't know the name, but I know the material runs for the same for the other unit you're using. And so what I've been doing is getting as many of that built up that I can, so that I have all of the conductors and everything else for the droid brains, because it eats up so many to try to level it out.
Yeah, my stockpile of Kairos that had hoarded up finally ran out, and it was just like, I'm good on literally everything. I mean, the Mark 9 laptop, yeah, those come in slow, but at least you can hammer away with raid currency if need be. But this was just like, ran out of power, all systems off, just like,
Yeah.
oh, fuck, okay. Had to all right, we're back to all hands on deck, every store back on Kairos at every like, all right, we're really doing this because CG has made the R10 inflow rate insane. Like signal data is pretty insane now. Raid stuff is pretty insane. Like everything is insane except droid brains. So that's issue number 1. I've made it back up to I could apply to R10s if I wanted. Issue number 2. Hey, we're six.
Fatal. Hey, before you move off that, by the way, just as a reminder, I had noticed this, so just in case you didn't, you tend to be more on top of this than me. But the episode shipment, that weekly shipment, does now
Love
include
that.
10 droid brains, so you can
Sure
go buy
does.
those.
I'm
Hero currency.
yeah. I was looking at that. I'm like, I am still of a mind that like, I don't know, man. This is the only way to get R10 mats. Like,
I know.
I'll just be patient. Like, yes, we're drowning in R10 shit for being top 10, top 30 Coliseum, but like, I gotta stick with exclusivity for now. And
I agree.
Yeah, just
on principle, I totally get it. Yeah, just throwing it out there.
You think the
eventually
5,000
they will.
currency is worth it for 10 droid brains?
No, I think that they will eventually alleviate the R9 bottleneck, and the droid brain bottleneck will be alleviated going forward at some point. And I'd rather have the coaxium server motors.
I'm fine to just be like all hands on deck. Hey, it's Kairos again, like worse than it ever was.
Yep.
Like, I'm fine with that. I can make do with that as long like if I'm like still really bottlenecked even after throwing everything possible, then maybe those 10 start to look shinier. But I don't know. As is, I'm like whatever. And then on top of that, I don't know how many people are going for this era. Hey, TikTok, it's 6 weeks until the era ends, and as is becoming the running tradition now, if you care about the era battle and you have looked at the gear planner, it's never a good look. It's decidedly pretty bad now. Like, it feels like roughly 6. 6 might even be too late. I might have done too much stuff. But like, if you're not starting before now, you just have to start now. Like, I don't even have every character on the list, and it's like, yeah, but I need like 400 to 500 of each signal data. I need like 200 of the R6 to 8. I need like 100 of the R9 plus. It's just, yeah. If you're doing that stuff, like, I looked at this season and it was like, so you're telling me you want me to relic up a bunch of droids, and you want me to relic up a bunch of old unusable units for Cobb Vanth. I'm good, actually. I'm pretty sure Sortie is actually not going to be that good anyway. So like, I'll pass. I'm all right. I'm gonna save up and I'll do Rada the Hut and get my rebate. And hey, maybe I'll feel like I missed out on what could have been, but I don't think I will.
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't like to go super in on Kron stuff, because at the end of the day, people R10 their vein for the set that just rotated, and R9 vein was just as strong as R10 vein, pretty much. So I don't know.
I snuck in R9 shirt. I don't know if that was, again, 6 weeks from now I might be like, why? It worked fine anyway. And then yeah, I tried to sit down with this meta this weekend, but I'm having trouble figuring out what cheesers are gonna do. So I might just like, I mean, there's so many teams flying around to make a safe offense that it's like, do I care about Bad Batch 2 versus Hondo if I could just Django it instead? Do I care about Bad Batch 2 versus Stranger if I could just, whatever that instead? I don't know. I really don't know what I want to do this season. I'm probably just going to counter myself against the meta, or position myself against the meta and counter it. So that might just mean I do a weird day one and then react, but we'll see. I got to remod bounty hunters and all that.
Nice. Any particular things that you think are standout in the way that you need to remod bounty hunters to take full advantage of the?
I mean, it's all just turn order clocking, right? It's just figure out what use case you want to aim for, and then make your turn order make sense for that. Right. Are you running Mando or not? Are you doing, all the questions?
Yeah. Well, I'm sure we'll have plenty to say here, because we're just about to move over to Vexitron and then talk about our Datacron. So, Vex, why don't you tell us about any preparations that you've been looking at here in terms of remods and relic supply, going into week 1?
So, pretty much for me, I think I'm at a different level than you guys. I don't really have a lot of my subpar units at Relic 7. So, for me, I took my Mando from 5 to 7 because, we'll obviously talk more about that later, but kind of creating like a mini TM loop. partially. So I want to make sure that he's at a high enough level where I could use the Datacron with Django and he has some survivability. So I brought him up to 7. I kind of want to load him up with crit chance just in case. I know he gets a lot from, getting crit chance up on a basic, I believe. He gets the crit chance up. But I brought him up to 7. In terms of modding, I really am putting a big emphasis on my Ben Solo recently because there are situations where he'll just pop you even without doing the big AoE ability. Even just his middle ability could one-shot crit a Padawan Obi-Wan, and you're like, what the hell just happened? So I recently got his crit chance up to 85. Not sure if that's considered high for you guys, but for me, he went from like 50 to 85 in a week because I brought him to R10 and changed his mod. So I'm hoping that can make a big impact for me. As far as anything big changes like that, Shorty or Sortie up to, offense modding, I changed my arrow on my Ahsoka to crit avoid, and that actually got me so many holds last season.
Tell me about that. What do you think about that? Because I noticed a few people choked out on the solo Ahsoka, right? Like I'm talking like C Bane and stuff like that. And I don't have the crit avoidance on her. So I wonder how much about it is just them choking out on her solo, or the crit avoidance hero specifically you think really puts a crimp in something.
I think tying that into the Datacron was kind of like my mentality because I faced a lot of cheesers last season that were bringing everything on offense, and they still dropped against Ahsoka because they kept timing out with Sith Eternal Bane. So I'm not sure because he's not critting or they're just running out of time. I'm pretty sure they're not getting the crits. So I don't know if it's probably harder in 5v5, I would think, than 3v3. But I think that change got me a ton of holds last season, so I was a big fan of that. But in terms of remodding anybody else, there's nothing I can think of at the moment. Definitely Sortie, Ben Solo, Ahsoka's arrow. And as of right now, I think that's everything. And bringing up my Mandos, or my Mando to Relic 7 for the Django Cron.
Fair. Good move.
One of the mistakes people make with the C Bane thing versus Ahsoka is that they transform C right away instead of stacking his mastery.
I agree.
You want to wait. I usually wait like 2 minutes before I hit the transform button, and then win easily from there with like 30 to 45 seconds on the clock.
So to be clear, you just farm mastery and transform when there is 2 minutes remaining on the.
No, I at 3 minutes. I wait 2 minutes, so 3 minutes to go. I hit the transform button. Usually it's like 90 seconds of stacking mastery, and then you can then I just crit every time.
Okay.
I don't. But to Vexitron's point, I do think that there is a large group of people who will time out there because they don't remember C solos versus things where you, like JML, remember where you had to wait. Remember the Bastily JML teams where you had to wait like 3 minutes before you popped ult. I think there's a lot of people who just didn't have to do those fights years ago. So
the flip side as well, I think, is I haven't tried the mastery angle for this matchup specifically, so I mean that might also be true too. But if you're not waiting, this is a matchup where you're not like from second one you don't feel like you're on the clock, but you are on the clock because seemingly the flow of the fight is that there is like a crucial number of Bane second specials to shred the defense, and it's like once you reach it's like number I don't know if it's number 5, it's like between 5 and 8. It's like once you hit that, then okay, you're hitting like 200,000 hits and she goes down real fast. But it's like if you spend 90 seconds to 2 minutes just like thinking your way through the fight, and then you hit auto and you're like, oh, I'm fine. It's like, no, you've actually burnt too much clock already. Like you needed time to cycle the clock to get enough raw Bane turns to like soften her up, is how it seems to be going a lot of the time. I mean, maybe the
crit. Even if you can't crit, it works.
I don't know how Bane doesn't seem happy against crit avoid, so like that angle might work as well. I have no idea. But yeah, broadly, like for just like normal C Bane versus normal Ahsoka, I think I timed out once and then like was quickly just like, yeah, okay, this is. I would sit there watching the auto, and it was literally just like, okay, 30 seconds left. Bane drops X number AoE. All of a sudden, she's just made a paper. and it all flushed out from there. So, yeah, I mean, it seems like there's multiple ways to approach the fight. I would just say whichever way you do try as the attacker, do be mindful of your time if you're running Seabane.
Also remember, I believe Bane gives crit chance from rule of 2. I don't think it's a ton, but he gives some. And C's mastery is crit chance. One of his masteries is crit chance. So, yeah,
it's something like Bane normally floats around 100 with his unique. So, like, if you've got the R10 Ahsoka, you got the C8 arrow, that puts him on, like, 50% chance to crit, and if that does open up an opportunity that, like, it could high roll someone, like, that could be value.
Fair. All right. Anything else you wanted to cover, Vex?
In terms of the modding,
Remods or relic supply?
Not that I could think of. I definitely maybe I put more speed on my Forlom. I think he's pretty nice, being pretty fast, but I don't think it's anything super game changing. I think I have him at 325 or something, but I don't know where it is in his unique. Fast. I think he's gaining turn meter in the beginning of battle.
Yeah. You know what? This is a natural transition as any into, second topic here about Datacrons. Of course, we've got to talk about the latest and greatest of them. But yeah, we'll talk here about our priorities to replace from the expiring set, the Scoundrel set Power for Hire. We now have set 31 in Conquest. So, what were our top priority Datacrons? Now, without any further ado, let's just get right into Django. Right? This is what I put together for this week. We'll see if this ends up being the best way. But yeah, I've got turn meter level 3. I looking forward to hearing what you guys have. I've got the Separatist, what do you call it, Riposte level 6. And then, of course, Django 9. Went for as much crit damage as I could get. Had a stubborn level 8 roll that stayed health, and I can live with that. So, what did you guys go with?
So, I originally was right on board with like what you were thinking with like the immunity to daze or the crit avoid on the 6, but now that I'm looking at the wordy Separatist Cron, it says whenever a Separatist ally gains bonus turn meter when they didn't have 100%, they're gaining 3% crit damage stacking till the end of the encounter.
Yes.
If you pair that in with Mando and his crazy turn meter gains to the team, that's a lot of ramping crit damage. And if he's not sitting at 100% and he just keeps gaining turn meter, that sounds like a lot of crit damage stacking. I'm not sure if it's going to affect any major matchup, but I think Django hitting like an absolute unit with unlimited ramping crit damage could be pretty nasty. And that's something I was not thinking about during my Datacron video, because I was like not thinking about a crazy TM loop with Mando hitting 3 times in a row and combining it with Asajj Disciple, but there are crazy ramifications for crazy TM gain and crazy crit damage stacking, unless I'm reading it wrong. But he is a Separatist and he's a bounty hunter, so he should be gaining the turn meter from Mando. That could be a lot of crit damage.
Yeah, I also went with that level 6 for almost exactly those reasons.
Okay, I can see that. Sure. Yeah, I thought the biggest reason to take the one that I went with was just the Riposte. So I can see that. I can see the stacking crit damage mattering. He is a heavy hitter. You saw that I.
Yeah. Sorry.
No. I guess I'll ask you guys in a minute. I guess I want to continue hearing from you guys about how you have the cron set up, because then I want to talk about the changes that we've made to the members that we think we're using with this. Yeah, I hear there's already several comps in mind, and yeah, I wasn't thinking about this one before you just mentioned it, Vex, so appreciate that.
Well, I will say, I don't know if this is jumping forward to what you were about to talk about or in after this question, but I really do like the Riposte one if you're doing the Grief Bosk one. If you're planning to do that, I really like the Riposte one, because those mass assists going under Prot would be filthy.
Keep in mind that Asajj applies protection disruption. Or like everyone using a special applies protection disruption, I think, something like that for the new Asajj.
So the riposte.
Oh, yeah, fair point. So that kind of deadens value. Yeah.
Well, if
So
you're
are
not
you
going to use
also
Massage and you're going to use Boskin Grief, the riposte is good.
sure? I mean, but yeah, you'd be crazy to not be running Asajj Dark Disciple in this comp under Django lead, right? I don't think there's going to be any disagreement here in the room about the core of the team being Django, Asajj Dark Disciple, and I would think Mando. Are we all doing that at least?
I don't know who the fourth and fifth are, just because I think Forlom is still really good.
I was thinking Forlom and Zam, personally, because of the Omicron, but maybe it's overkill. I think they're starting with 100% turn meter anyway.
Yes, that's what I was thinking. Is like if you're talking about getting the benefit of everything after that first turn with the in terms of the speed and then the other parts of the stat share, and you're only using this on offense, maybe going tankless can make sense in some circumstances. But
The other thing,
yeah, I would expect a tank to be featured in any comp here, right?
DBB also just feeds a ton of turn meter to himself. So I mean, like, he also is like, I don't want to say underrated, but I definitely have found a lot of uses for him since Asajj is around. And I know he won't be the leader on this team, but I still think his kit's like not terrible for like what this team is trying to do. Breach is good.
Sure.
Sorry, Fatal's gonna tell us what we're supposed to do. Sorry.
No, I honestly have no idea what the fuck I'm gonna do.
Oh,
what I'll start by saying is, like, if you're gonna post it on defense in week 1 for shock value, sure, but my assumption is cheeses are going to cheese. I'm like, man, I unfortunately misread Asajj until like a couple days ago. I thought she was giving bonus turns, so I was like, oh, you'll start even against JMK, and it's like, nope, fuck off. Like, all right, this team is less good than I thought. So I think my approach for week 1 is honestly just going to be mod up probably like 8 bounty hunters and just draft as the offense job requires, because like you're not always going to want to use Mandalorian. There are going to be teams that are going to be instant defeat immune. And like, to the point of the level 6 talk, it is true that there's synergy there. I don't think you're actually getting turn meter on Django all that much. Like, you're getting a decent amount of Mandalorian, but we're probably talking like by the time you've won, you're getting like 30% crit damage. So like, it's value. That's like an extra stat roll. But if you're just like, I mean, in my case, I only just got Django last night after like 20 attempts.
Mm-hmm.
The stats are ass, and it's like, am I gonna try to reroll for that just to get a little bit of damage value? Yeah. If you're fucked, because I have like, I had good mat rollover from the last set, so I have like 1,000 Mark IIs that I can just go fishing.
Mm-hmm.
If you're fucked on stats, or materials, I don't know that you need to burn the barn down for effectively stat rolls. Just kind of view it as like, assuming that you get turn meter on Django like 5 or 10 times, it'll be nice. It's value. It's nice sprinkle, but yeah, kind of just worry about your fundamentals.
Because the only other level 6 I considered was the bonus turn on kill for Django, but that just seems even more narrow than the turn meter.
I just don't think this slot matters terribly much. I think this team is just gonna steamroll.
Yeah, I was thinking that if I wasn't going with either of these bottom two, either of the two longer Separatist level 6s, I would have gone with the first one. Whenever a Separatist ally is critically hit, they gain 100% crit avoidance and crit chance for 2 turns.
That's my first initial thought when I was doing my Datacron video, was that was the winner. But I was playing around with it because I got lucky with the reroll, and I was taking out Leia. Very, very, very much needed the vulnerable because of how much crit avoid she gets. So it's not really like a super. Maybe it is with the Omicron in Grand Arena, but in Squad Arena, if the vulnerable gets cleansed, you're in trouble because of the amount of crit avoidance that team gets. It's crazy. Hondo was a breeze. Don't know how OG Hondo is going to affect the matchup, but it wasn't even close in Squad Arena. Lord Vader was tough with the max health level 3. Just doing way, way too much. I had to throw in Fennec to get that to work for me. Because she had potential of hitting like 16 times in one turn, like 16 different hits from her basic. So that was fun. And the last one I beat, it was Hondo, Leia. Oh, Jabba was a breeze. That wasn't even, not even worthy of a discussion. That was a joke.
Now, please, Excuse my ignorance. How are we talking about 16 hits coming out of Fennec? It's
So
5. It's 5 on a kick. Yeah.
So maybe it's 20 then. She was hitting 4 times in one turn. She was assisting. Like she would do a kick, do it again, and do it like 3 or 4 times. I don't know if it's a bug.
Boba's the one who does the 4 hits on basic. Fennec does 5.
So
Maybe I got confused. She's doing a lot of hits.
But I'm sorry, are we talking about like there's a Boskin of Grief, like stimulating extra assists? Like what am I missing here?
It's the Django 9.
Oh, it's a Django
Whenever
9. Okay,
Bounty Hunter ally
attack
enemy, they attack again, and then there's something when she gets disciple where she's doing something else. Like I don't even know.
Yeah.
It turns out when you have 5 chances to crit,
it helps.
Yeah.
The thing I want to tell people to keep in mind, because I'm not playing cards close to the chest. I just haven't done the work yet. But the thing to keep in mind when you're building this team out over the season is this is a slot efficiency puzzle, where it's like, I mean, we all experienced Forlom Kron to some degree, right? That team's identity was we go first and fucking murder you, and we have less slots here than we did there because Forlom is just like a harder hitting Fennec, and he has a mass assist. But Fennec is like, right? You weren't like, oh, I'm running Forlom or Fennec. You ran both, and people just fell over. Your Leia just got mowed, right? Like that was. Thanks for the free banners. But with the Django lead, we basically just got an immediate rerun of Forlom, but it's harder to replicate the results because Forlom got the continuance with the payout where we're spending the payout to replicate the Forlom. And we've got less slots to do it, so I would really be careful, right? Like, if you run Django, Asajj, Tank, Mando, you just spent 4 team slots, which means you only have 1 slot for damage. Now, like, Asajj does damage, yes, but, like, if we're talking the guys, like, we're talking Forlom, we're talking Fennec, we're talking Dadbod, like, you just got to be mindful of where you spend it and how you spend it and what you need it, right? Like, Zuckuss is decent here. Zuckuss gives you 50% turn meter on top if you need to contest preload. But that's a slot. And you're going first, and you're going many times. Do you really need a tank? It's just stuff to keep in mind. I don't think there's many wrong answers. It's just pick your play style.
His payout's also really strong. I think he gets like 200% crit avoid immediately because of the contract.
Zuckuss?
Yep.
Yeah.
So he's not getting crit often unless he has vulnerable or something.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, like what Velo was saying about this team, is that I'm not even saying you're wrong. I'll probably I like the idea of Zuckuss on the team. I just don't know how many turns they're going to get if you do your thing properly.
I just feel like the Kron is so fun because there are so many different payouts to benefit from that you could utilize different strategies or try to stop certain things. Like practically Boba Fett is getting a bonus turn AoE ability block for certain teams because he's getting 100%. He gets a bonus turn when he has his payout activated. Not saying that's going to be the craziest combo, but there's so many different things you could utilize with the level 9 with the Bounty Hunter faction, which is one of the most fun factions in the game. I don't know what we're trying to stop. I feel like a lot of players are going to be like, oh, they're getting 100% turn meter, Kylo or JMK. The map is so small, is it really going to matter?
Exactly.
Like, if the map was bigger, this would be way more of a threat. Obviously, it's fun, but the map is the same. We have crazy amount of GLs. There's a lot of cheesers where we hang out. No offense to everyone around us, but that's not my favorite playstyle. So I want to figure out the counters that aren't going to be GLs, make it interesting, but it might be at a point where it's like, all right, I don't want to deal with a 100% turn meter first turn insta-kill Mando banner stealing. You're going to lose the Grand Arena in the first battle anyway, but I guess that's the tough part about Grand Arena right now.
Yeah, the other thing is, and I'm not saying that this team is a nothing burger, but I also view it as like, is there something we can do with the team on offense with 3 or 4? Because you put this on defense, like people, if I see it on defense, I'm just going to pull out CLS and see if that still works. If it does, it does. If it doesn't, it doesn't.
That is the legwork I'm going to try to do tonight for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, it's because that was like such a dunk, just such an absurd fucking dunk. Was CLS was back in the day.
You could time out with Django. He starts with damage immunity.
Yeah, but if he takes the bonus turn, or if he gets the 100% turn meter, he cycles out of that.
Yeah, he would.
faster.
And he might double back twice from like Asajj fielding some as well. Yeah,
That's fair.
So,
especially if you're running Mando.
So I'm looking for if someone can figure out what this team does on offense as a 3 or 4-man team.
Oh,
Is there some way to get 66, the number right above 66 banners?
Yeah, I mean, look, man, when you're in a cheese meta, it feels constrictive and the board feels small until you go past 65, and then all of a sudden things open up real nice. Like I was sitting there looking at Tatil, and I was just like, I mean, yeah, Datacrons makes every fight unlosable, but that shit was already kind of unlosable anyway, so has anything really changed? And then immediately it's like, well, no. You extract that into value, like I'm gonna go 67-year Lord Vader or something, and like that is the logical next step. Like, if it feels like you've gained power but nothing is changing, then you have to look for other ways to change it.
Yeah, Datacron has impressed me. Being able to 4-man 2 different GLs feels really good.
Can I throw in a possible monkey wrench for Tatil on defense that I think could be somewhat interesting?
What's up?
Well, before we talk about Tatil, do we have other things we want to talk about in the ways that like specifically with the bounty hunter team? Any key turn orders that you're looking to have in your core 3 or something like that? Because especially with Asajj, you're going to have all non-her bounty hunters having 100% turn meter, so they'll still pop off in the order that you have them modded. How are you guys making that matter?
Have somebody go before Django to put down debuffs?
I think Mando needs to not go. I think you need to figure out a way for Mando to get crit chance up before he takes the turn.
If he were called to assist before he gets his turn, that would do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just
Warlom start with mass assist.
Yeah, or grief, like mass assist or some. I mean, depending on what the comp you got.
Grief starts with cleanse, I want to say, though, because his AI is dumb.
Oh, does it really on defense, even if there's no debuffs? Huh?
I'd have to double check.
Who was it that you mentioned that wasn't grief?
Warlom. I think he does the second special first. I could be wrong though.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure
he does.
Yeah.
Like mass opener is
he
insane
does.
value, but that's offense only.
Yeah.
Fair. Okay, that's a good one. So just for the sake of setting up Mando ahead of his first turn, fair. Anything else we wanted to mention here on bounty hunters then, and then we'll move right on.
Do you guys think Django Jabba has any use at all?
Is there an angle for it to have any use? I don't really see. I mean, what, it like doubles Jabba's ult charge gain or something?
I mean, I did get Bounty Hunter's Resolve on him, which was kind of interesting to see, but I'm not sure if that's going to change.
He still dies to this. So the only problem with it, though, Vex, and I think we called it out because I think you called it in one of your videos, which is, I know it's like low hanging fruit for people, but I think they forget the reason Boba with the FDC won, that was Hut Cartel lead, so that gave some kind of, because there was Hut Cartel in the setup, so that gave some of the fan fiction, but also that FDC was really good, right? You were getting doubt from the team, so people were putting in saying, I get to put Jabba here, and it had more impact or effect. This one is just the DC saying now it's just bounty hunters, so it's tough to see throwing Jabba here, just to throw it there. Does that kind of make sense? That's where I think people will try it, but I don't see it being as good as saying, let's put Mando for one-shot kill right now. Let's put Bounty Hunter Asajj, because this setup's really going to apply out for what they're trying to achieve versus throwing him in there.
Like, I see that they can... I mean, the 300% defense is obviously nice, but I don't know if it's going to stop Kenobi. I think if Kenobi still walks through it, it's not worth it. I mean, there's no Night Sister cheese anymore.
I think Kenobi's the expensive answer to Jabba.
That's fair. I'm just wondering if throwing a monkey wrench with that team on defense, or if you're just killing 2 teams kind of thing. But again, the map is so small. I don't know. I'm trying to figure out ways to trick my opponent without being dumb, if that makes sense.
It might do something to Afra. I know a lot of people are high on that versus Jabba this season.
Like, I think that Leia with her payout, she's gonna inflict thermals on all enemies. I don't know if that's gonna stop anything. I think Chrysanthemum's payout does he get damage immunity, or am I thinking of something else?
So you're thinking of when it applies, but I believe there's also the application of all of the things you need because the taunting and all the mechanics are really driven into the Hut Cartel setup. When you take away full Hut Cartel, a lot of it goes away.
He does gain DI, but the DI I think checks for Jabba. I'd have to double check in game. The DI on contract I think checks for Jabba.
I'm looking more towards the full taunt and everything else. All of the application that you want the goodness with, Chrysanthemum, which really starts to check on Hut Cartel.
Oh no, I'm looking at his contract right now. It doesn't look like any of his payout is tied to being all Hut Cartel. It just says if the LA in the leader slot is a Galactic Legend and Hut Cartel. That's the only. He gains 50% payout. He gains 50% crit avoid to end a battle. He taunts for 2 turns, recovers 40% HP and prot. If the leader in the ally slot is a GL and Hut Cartel, Chrysanthemum also gains DI for 2 turns and 30% tenacity until the end of the battle.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So only if the allied leader is a GL. Yeah.
That's the DI, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
There it is. All right. Any other questions or items surrounding the bounty hunters? Okay, on over to Bastilocron, Satiocron. I think I was talking on my chill stream the other day, and somebody in the chat pointed out that the pre-taunt granted by the Satiocron is not preventing attacks out of turn and stuff like taunt otherwise should on Satil. The Bastila one is working in that sense correctly. So until they fix that, that is clearly the superior choice. That said, kind of set it up the same either way, whichever 9 I had. The damage reduction level 6 is what I went with, light side bulk level 3, and then as much prod as I could stack. Here's the one together. I could still try and go for this health reroll, but it's been stubborn. Trust me. Tried. So, what about you guys? Yeah, I gotta figure. Yeah, no, this is the right one.
I think the Bastilocron is better than the Steelcron, even if the Satiocron is working properly.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I kind of did the same thing. I have a couple crons here. My cron looks very similar to yours. I also have a health that I need to roll off, but it's 80 and it's on the level 3, so it's not the discounted level 6.
Sure.
Level 4, 5. But yeah, I really like the idea of this being able to actually consistently 4v5 like important things. Getting 66 banners feels pretty good.
Yeah, you think this is a 66 banner Stranger Killer then?
Lord Vader, at least.
Fair.
Luminarchron might cause issues.
Yes. Yes, I would think so. Action disruption sounds bad.
Do you think?
I'm not even sure. Honestly, the way Jolie works, I'm not even sure that matters.
I think when
it
she
would
has
matter for
protection
the
disruption,
damage, right?
The damage is gone.
While your prod is disrupted, you're not doing any of your true damage, right? Your third from Satil would do no damage, I assume, and then your assist damage onto the marked target would do 20% of 0.
Yeah, but JML's coin still works if you prod disrupt him.
Works. I mean, does it still hit for the same damage?
Yeah. Because it's still there, it just isn't applied. I don't know if this works that way. Sorry.
Last season, when I was going against Sana Django with Asajj, and I was using Satil, I would do a mass swarm with Revan, and she had protection disruption, and it wouldn't do a thing. It wouldn't do like the true damage. I don't know if that's a weird.
That would meet my expectation. That's what I would expect this. Well, how about the rest of the room here?
Then, yeah.
All right, no, go ahead, Derek.
No, if that's how it works, then yeah, then it doesn't work.
I mean, it'll get tested out here in week 1, sure.
Can you dispel the prot disruption? I don't remember offhand.
I think you have to. Here, I'll pull it up, but I think you have to.
Yeah, it can't be dispelled. Yeah.
Yeah, it can't be dispelled, evaded, or resisted. Right. So you're gonna just have to move through. Yeah, that would be that's a fair point. And honestly, for what it's worth, in as much as we can draw on lessons from 3 versus 3 and 5 versus 5, the only times that I saw Satil failing against Stranger was when it had the Wampa Cron, right? We don't have that anymore. This might be as close as you could get in terms of a Cron with offense on it, a heavy stack of it, and crit damage. You're just missing the armor penetration. So, if anything, gonna jam up Satil, I'd expect something like this.
Mhm.
How about you guys, though? Any difference in the way you've set up your Satil-Cron? Any new plans that you have? Or sorry, Bastila-Cron or Satil. I'm assuming Bastila. But yeah, if you've got this set up this way, how are you going to
Yeah.
use it? Or did you set it
For
up
this
differently?
season, all non-Satil people should be in health mods, health primaries, because Basilicron gives you prod up, and like you said, if you run into the prot disruption, it gives you a higher health pool to not die.
Interesting thought. Yes, if I guess, but if knew I was walking into the pot disruptor, I just rotate the counter and look for a 66 elsewhere. Because I mean,
No, you
Keep in
misunderstood.
mind,
That's only part of it, though, Tass. Remember that they gain prod up. That's based off their health from the
yeah,
Bastille.
I follow. I do get that.
Yeah,
think of like when Radis ults. Like Radis ult is protection disruption, correct? I think.
Yep.
I think
Yeah.
so. Yeah.
Protection disruption does not get rid of what's already there. It just stops you from getting future sources. So the lock 200% protection up at start a match, even if you get prot disrupted, you would still keep that.
which means health would be the priority to mod for.
I in most cases, I mean, I was already on it anyway, just because like talking about Stranger, there were, I mean, yeah, it's like if it was a Wampacron, or I think a Luminaracron probably gets the job done as well. Like if your Revan's built for protection, the boy's gonna get got if Stranger decides to poke him. In 5v5, it probably matters less because you could just run Jolie anyway. But yeah, like yes, City Lead gives you a ton of protection, but I think for the foreseeable future, a health built Revan with or without this Datacron is probably just the safest place to be. And then Jolie probably still parks there. So it's really just like, yeah, move your Bastila over, maybe move Juhani over if she even gets used.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Basically, my question basically was, are you moving Bastila back over to health mods for this season?
I'm going to be honest with you, I don't think it actually matters, but it's probably optimal, yeah.
Sure.
Satil is kind of stupid before this Cron and also after.
Fair. All right.
How do we feel about... So, this caught me off guard last Bobby 5 season. I was just doing a live stream, and I went against a Satil on defense, which was like something you never see. It was paired with the Zalbar Omicron, and I tried Great Mothers. I doomed Satil, was stuck on Zalbar the entire time, died badly, like wasn't close. Do you think there's any defensive viability with Satil this season with maybe Zalbar?
I was planning on it until, well, not with Zalbar, but I was planning on it broadly until Spock reminded me that Satil taunt isn't airtight without cooldown reduction. I was like, well, fuck. Because in my mind, it was like, I think you could just raw timeout Sith Eternal. But, yeah, unfortunately.
Wait, Zalbar doesn't work with Satil with certain things?
Like, no. I was saying I was planning to do Satil on defense with a different angle than Zalbar. But the angle doesn't work. It, like, the sides would die, and then Satil would be executable after, like, 2 or 3 turns, so... God, who cares?
Mm-hmm. I mean, I think Sith Eternal, no matter what form of Satil you put down, probably is a win, but if you could draw out Sith Eternal somewhere else, require another counter, maybe? I mean, Zalbar's Omicron is, like, actually sleeper OP, I feel, that people don't even realize. I mean, he is very annoying. And with damage reduction on a level 6, he's not gonna be, taking a lot of damage. I don't know.
Are you also able to draw Inquisitors? I feel like that's also just kind of a dunk.
Even if they can get past the death mark?
Well, I just mean like you have options between Eighth Brother and GI. I feel like
Oh yeah, we
Eighth
still have the
Brother.
GI one.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like Eighth Brother's first AOE might kill multiple sides, and then it's just 5v2.
Keep in mind,
Yeah,
Satiel's for.
Sorry.
Oh wait, it's Zalbardan. Sorry, I was gonna say Preton, so you can't assist, but there's so many fucking Old Republic. I was also like, man, what if Sortie plus Satiel on defense is like, if you do that shit, you will not have Bachelor Satiel level 9.
Right.
I feel like this is very Xenostair, but I keep on asking stupid questions.
Yeah, there's not a lot of variety in how we can divide up these Old Republic characters.
I look forward to this set in 3s, but we're not talking about that.
Fair. Well, okay. So Zalbar, it's interesting that you're excited about this one, Vex, because I recall, Fatal, that your initial impression was you weren't impressed. You still thinking the same here going into the first week?
So I was asked in context of the Wookiees.
Yes.
In context of like putting him in Ray, it's better. Because like, just break it down this way. When you're using Zalbar and Wookiees, like, I'm not losing because, oh man, they buff immunity'd my Zalbar and then killed everyone else and Zalbar watched. My problem playing Wookiees is you build your Spirit Bomb and you need that shit to kill them. And so like, stun immunity kind of helps, yes, but the more frequent issues are like fear, cooldown increase, ability block, like turn meter removal, all of that stuff. So like, in context of Wookiees, the reason why I say it's bad is because it doesn't really solve most of my issues running with Wookiees right now. But yeah, like, I mean, if I'm running like Ray Zalbar or whatever, the level 9 with the buff immunity, like, yeah, that's a pretty good thing to be doing. That's probably going to be what I'm doing.
Yeah, you like that for your Ray more than Sortie?
I think Ray Sortie sounds extremely easy to beat.
Yeah. Probably Queen then.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm assuming you try and pop her DI after you do cooldown, like a.
Well, no. So to be clear, Queen, like if I run Queen, I don't think Sortie ever gets to play the video game.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just like, there are so many ways to kill Ray that I'm just like, am I supposed to be using Queen Amidala, or am I supposed to be like maybe posting her on defense, but she's gonna die easy anyway, so who gives a shit? I mean, Queen is just a very good undersizer, so I feel like she probably still belongs on defense. But yeah, I mean, she's gonna go before Sortie, even if you tried like Ray Sortie BB-8 4 droids. You're gonna get the cooldown increase. Like, we're very used to Ray being cooldown increase immune because of Ezra, but that is gone. So the deny opener works. It's like, yeah, I don't know. I think Zalbar. I don't think Zalbar's going to stop QA. I think Zalbar with the 9 would at least annoy the shit out of QA, right? She can't buff immunity him. You just got to park there. Maybe even throw like Barris, Cal, Krex, or any combination of them on him. That motherfucker's just not going anywhere. Like that would at least be fun or interesting.
He also prevents stealth, so you can't really protect your Padawan Obi-Wan from maybe getting one shot from a Ben Solo. So that's something to keep in mind. All enemies are immune to stealth. If I know that Queen Amidala has a lot of turn meter reduction, so you can get him below that threshold for the damage reduction, but it just increases the variables of things could go wrong for the enemy. Not that it's unbeatable, but it could create situations where, I could catch my opponent in this type of situation, kind of thing. So, but also maybe you pair it with General Kenobi too. He's a tank.
The problem I run into with it is that Queen still has bulk level 3, and I'm not sure anything Ben or Sortie's going to do is going to matter.
This meta this season is just so extremely high powered that like the biggest thing that's going to define everyone this season is who do you choose to use, and when you have this much power, how many risks are you willing to take, or are you just going to play it safe? Like, it's Queen Amidala is gonna mow. Like,
you might see her on defense though, with maybe Kiadi Mundi Luminara kind of combo. I don't know if that's considered a waste, but that sounds like a fun team.
Just like everything else in 5 versus 5, it's not a question of whether you can make something a difficult defensive team in itself. It's that, whatever you're doing, can you draw out something that's gonna beat Bane Talon? If you don't otherwise pull Bane by the time they get to your Queen Talon, Cam or not, Luminara or not.
I was at war with Bane back in the day, but I don't know for what's available right now. Like Sith bonus turn and shit like that. I'm just like,
right.
Kiadi Mundi could insta-kill Bane if he gets the 2 forms.
If
he survives.
Yeah, if he's also not transforming on his first turn like he his second turn like he should be. He's delayed, right? He's going to do basic, then armor shred, then transform, then another special, then transform back. He does not have that kind of time. The point is that, yes, it could work against something, but for example, just one of the easiest classic counters to it, you would have to have drawn first, and that is always the challenge of 5 versus 5 at the high end these days when you have everything but such a small footprint to exercise it over.
And on top of that, putting Queen on defense is an inherent sacrifice because you're looking at, 65 to the number above 66 banners. Right? Like, sure. You're putting it on defense knowing that it could help you in a deficiency battle, like a cheese battle. So there's that is a real cost to setting it, but beyond all the things Tass said, because I do agree.
Yeah, it's I like that is everything I'm struggling with at the moment. That's why I just don't have answers, is because like on some level I don't know if I can come up with answers until I see. It seems like everyone settles into the same pattern after a couple matches, and once I see that pattern, I can dictate the greed and the risks that I'm willing to take. But like I've been trying to guess what cheeses are going to do the last couple seasons based on like, here's what the best thing they could do would be. And that's been dead wrong. And they keep on shooting themselves in the foot. So it's just like, I kind of just gave up on trying to predict on match 1. And instead, like, I'm going to see if I can make like a flexible game plan that just lets me like, I don't know what you're doing, but I'll have enough on hand handy. And then we'll drill down from there. But yeah, like Queen Amidala, I think could end up on defense this season, but I think at least initially might be on offense. And frankly, honestly, with how insane GR6 is, like she's probably 67 territory this season if I play halfway competently.
And which 6 are
you?
Yeah,
the GR6 with the light side thick is, I mean, to Fatal's point. And
which 6? Sorry, the disruption.
The long text GR6, but frankly, I mean, even the poor man's Barris level 6 there with like the 12% health on a crit, but for an Underman and like as Dagger mentioned, I mean, in 5s, particularly when you've got that thick level 3, I mean, QA is it's very ripe for undersizing. And it's tough to forego it on offense, as much as I think there's some really cool stuff that you can do with her on D.
I remember the first match of last season when I faced Fatal. He put a 300% defense cron with the Galactic Republic heal level 6, and I tried Queen Amidala. That was the scariest battle I think I've had all season with Array, because I couldn't do anything for the first like 3 minutes. I had to get lucky with like a big crit. It was like sleeper overpowered.
Yeah,
so.
I saw that fight, like made their mods better and tried to like come up with changes, and then nobody played Queen Amidala versus Ray again. Everyone was doing just like randomly just like Leia. I'm like, did I miss a memo? Like, quick.
That was insane.
I'm trying to tech Queen Amidala and she's just going random places. I'm like,
they broke the social contract on you, Fatal. That's wrong.
I'm trying to counter you. Why won't you let? But okay, if people do unexpected stuff and it's fine, that's fine. You're trying to win. they're just doing random stuff and it's not working. And I'm like, can we go back to doing the good things so I can do good things against your good thing?
Yes. It feels terrible getting caught out by it. It's like, this isn't even good. Why do I feel like I'm on the back foot? Are there any other crons here, though, that we were really hyped about going into this week one? So, we've covered a bit here about Sortie. We've talked about Django. Bastila being, generally better than Satil here, especially with the bug affecting the way Satil level 9 taunt works. Any other, we've also talked about Zalbar. Any other big winners that we're seeing, as a priority going into week one?
I know the one I'm going to try, but I think it's more towards offense. We talked about it. Bonus turret always be good, so I think the Asajj one might be fun. Obviously, Asajj being dumb on defense, unfortunate, but I've liked her for a long time, and I saw Fate always do good things when it came to, for doing Jabba. I just think it could be a lot of fun having that and her just going crazy.
So you're talking, all right. So we're talking about the Asajj, not Dark Disciple, the original Asajj Ventress. You're talking about the Separatist level 9 for her bonus turns, right? Let me pull that up.
I kind of like her with Ufus, but I had like a bunch of people tell me like absolutely not. But Malicos is going to be assisting after every attack, no?
It's not that this is bad for that. That is true. It's that, is this better than Dark Side offensive buffs level 3 and just having somebody call Malicos ahead of his first turn and then him just nuking?
Yeah, and the other question is that better than just having Cal or Inquisitor Barris on the team?
Do you think it could like maybe cause an issue for like Malgus? Maybe?
Well, you're talking about team on defense.
Yeah. This still fucking kills me. The unfortunate thing about Asajj on defense is she'll never use her AoE against Malgus. So like that positioning, which could in theory work if it was player sided, like she will pretty much never cash that in. So like
that's why I kind of went with the offense side of things, because I still think it's cool, and I've always been a fan of Asajj. She's always been great at ramping at what she's doing, and more turn always good.
To use her how, with who?
I don't know yet. I could also see it going like on Great Mothers. I could see it. There's a couple different ways I could see doing it, just because it'd be a lot of fun. But I don't know. I just don't think there's defensive setups for it, because you obviously want like AoE spam, go more.
Hear me out. What about this? What about this? In a world where, I'm not saying any of us would want to play it this way, but I can see like, more efficiency / cheese players doing this. Instead of having Django in your trench team, setting trench with Asajj level 9.
You'd rather have the trench level 9.
I think you probably would, but I just wanted to pitch it. I'm trying to think like
that's
the
problem is when you still try to put that.
Trying to give you a little leeway here, TJ.
I think that's the idea, though, is like know where you want to put it. It still comes down to there's no agency for doing what you want it to do.
Yeah.
It's kind of like cheesing out the SLKR setup, right? You're like, SLKR is amazing, but then you put the right thing in and it's like, oh, nope, he's dumb again. That's cool. We get to leave that alone. So it's just one of those setups where no matter how much you want to get it there, it's not going to be that.
And I just have a friendly reminder that the target lock level 6 means that GG is an option for you in general.
Sure.
I'm not saying it's going to counter anything specific. I'm not saying it's going to do the Lord's work. I'm not even saying it's going to be efficient. But just a reminder that if you get yourself into a pinch, that level 6 exists, and GG's good when that level 6 exists.
Well, and I gotta say, I mean, with I was thinking about this on offense. This could be a potentially high banner clear if you've got the restoration level 3. Whenever they gain a buff, they recover 2% health and protection.
Yeah, you can also use BB-8 here, and you can go first, like the GG, like go first, go fast team.
I suppose. Yeah. Who are you cutting? You're just cutting out Magna and going with the gods?
No, you're cutting Stat, because Stat requires them all to be separatist, doesn't he?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's.
That could be a banner stealing team for sure.
There's just there is an enormous frickin' doe eating on the tree immediately outside my office. Like I could reach it, I could lean out the window and pet this. It's a big freaking deer. All right.
Also, GG is going to be really hard to beat because he puts down debuffs every time he moves, so he's going to gain 25% health every time he moves, which is pretty good.
It's a good mention. Yeah, somebody did ask about the Droidica. This one I just haven't rolled away yet. I don't know what I'm on yet, but this is not specifically something I'm trying to go for. I remember the last time we had this, my guild shoehorning it into TW, and I don't recall it making a big splash. I don't recall us saying, "Oh man, we really took him to task on that wall. That Droidica at level 9 really saved the day." I don't think I've ever heard that said, so I'm not wowed by that one.
The only other one I'll mention is my pride is back on the line. Trench is back. Can't fucking lose to that shit, or I'll never hear the end of it. Thanks, TJ.
You're welcome. Everybody, please, when you're playing Dagger, to make sure that you put that bottom front. He will have to overkill it. That's not saying anything else.
If I ever lose
he is set by, because if he ever loses to this shit, he'll have to stay away, not for any other reason other than he was beat up by Trench, and that makes him a bitch.
You know how like when you lose your fantasy football pool and your friends make you stand out there in like the town square with a sign, around your neck and everything. Like, we're gonna have to make him wear the clown makeup, red shoes and all, red nose, sad clown face drawn on, sign, "I lost Trench."
Yeah. Dagger will promise to use Leia. Yeah, he will promise to use Leia on that Trench team. You'll be safe, team. Everybody go out and do it right now.
As long as he doesn't lose. That's it. So there's your secret strategy against Dagger. Force him to overkill Trench bottom front.
I have ran my mouth too much about that team. Hopefully they get a lifter soon, because I know Tass likes it. It is actually not a terrible team in TW. It's a good team in TW. It's fun. Anyways.
All right. So before I move on, though, I want to make sure, was there any other Datacrons here that you guys were gung-ho about going into week 1? We didn't cover.
Not specifically week 1, but yeah, I mean, just broadly, well-positioned Datacrons still continue to feel pretty relevant. LS Bulk still in season. We're on the new system, it'd only be around for 1 season after the last, but I've got my QA bulk plus crit damage crown ready to go for when that time comes. Yep, just be mindful. Stats still quite good.
Planning.
Do you think ISB? Sorry, I was going to say, I know we're talking a lot about the newer set, but do you think ISB has any sort of use in 5v5?
Yes.
Hey, so probably a lot. I have quite a few questions on I suspect a lot of people are going to post Django, and I feel depending on how people choose their turn orders, even ISB might be able to beat them. Depending on how cheesy people get, speaking of power and how you use it. I can't think of many good reasons for why I should not try ISB 3v5s with Partagaz. As long as it seems safe that Partagaz is going to get to that first turn, yeah, man. I mean, we saw what it did in 3s. It did exactly what it said it would. They go into purgatory and your KX just sits there and keeps taunting. Surely that's something.
Okay.
They're also good at regenning banners. That's one thing from 3v3 I definitely was a little surprised in.
Well, you were very enthusiastic here about this. So, I mean, what's jumping out to you about using this team here this season?
Me?
I'm sorry. I was talking to Dagger there. Dagger.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
No, just it's a turn meter team. Turn meter teams are good against non-reactive teams. BKM, bounty hunters, teams people like the set.
Okay. Fair enough.
People like the set. A lot of the cheesers like to set these high power non-reactive teams, like Fatal was saying, like bounty hunters, things and one that pops into my mind initially is BKM, and I think this would be good against those type of teams.
Very fair.
Banners to be determined.
All right, guys. Yeah, I know we wanted to make sure you didn't have a specific topic you wanted to propose for us today, Vexitron, but you did say you were looking forward to talking about Django. We covered everything for you in full, right? I want to make sure we got at least your one item covered to your satisfaction.
Oh yeah, I think it's a very fun cron. I think you're going to see some crazy combos on defense and offense. I think that's by far the MVP in terms of the most fun Datacron that they had for the new set. And yeah, obviously this is for a bigger topic, but until the map gets bigger, it's kind of hard to capitalize on these very strong crons because you're just gonna use a Galactic Legend and it still doesn't really put you back that far. I mean, that's just my personal output. I think the cron is fun, but most players are just going to use a GL against it.
Fair. All right, guys. Thank you. Let's move right on into the patron questions. We actually have quite a few today, so we'll do our best to cover as many of these as possible. If I end up having to make a selection of these, hopefully, you patrons out there will see that I've done my best here to cover them. All right, first one coming in from Loon. The impact of the Daedra Datacron to Ahsoka Tano, obviously with the high survivability, making it harder for Leia and Great Mothers. So I guess he's trying to say how difficult do we expect that to be? Yeah, talking with Livid and a few other people on my server the other day, that the need to bring Spirit to such a radically high amount of crit chance, to have reliability against crit avoidance arrow, the Dedra crit avoidance on the Kron, it's very high stat budget to get that done. That was quite a tear up to do that, and you still have to have a half decent accuracy arrow. Something's got to be going on besides the accuracy primary. I'd say that if you're not specifically knowing that you are built to be qualified for that fight, Ahsoka with the Dedricron, probably just plan on Leia. Leia did not seem, the idea here is that with that much crit avoidance, you're almost certainly not going to destroy Ezra with the first basic. And that's what we found early in the last 3 versus 3 against this Kron. So, against even against the full 5 versus 5 ensemble, I'm less inclined to try. I'm just going to go right after General Syndulla and move on with my life. Go through the other sides and take on Ezra later, if not second to last. That's how I kind of handle it. What do you guys think? The way this that you're going to deal with Ahsoka on defense with that Dedricron?
Oh, now that Ezra's locked into being on a full Spectre team, I'm just going to lay it. They can't do anything super fancy with their team on defense. And if they put Dedra there, they put the ISB Cron there trying to stop my Great Mothers, that's cool. I wasn't trying to do that anyways.
Yeah.
I just don't think it's consistent enough right now.
Could do a potential, if you want to change it up, you could go with Stranger Maul on offense against the Ahsoka Ezra with Dedricron. I've done it a bunch. I haven't lost it. You just gotta fracture Ezra on turn 1 with Spider Maul. None of the team can get instant defeated anyway, but it's a relatively easy fight from what I've seen.
The implication being that you would prefer to use Leia elsewhere on offense, or you're using Stranger in this way so that you can afford Leia on defense?
Leia on defense.
Like that. That's a fair trade.
Do you know what team comp I'm thinking? I want to see if you can guess.
I don't know.
All right, never mind. Stormtrooper Luke and Old Ben I find to be the toughest on defense to deal with.
Okay.
Yeah, has to have Stormtrooper Luke. Stormtrooper Luke's AI is really good.
Okay.
It stopped Inquisitors a bunch last season for me.
Other thoughts on this one, guys? Other ways that haven't been mentioned yet? Anything novel in how you intend to deal with Ahsoka with the Dedricron?
I don't know. I mean, again, there's so much power flying around right now. I am almost tempted to pull Cassie into offense, stop using his FTC, and just... The base Cassian squad is so interesting and well made, and I'm kind of like... The FTC is clearly powerful, but I'm kind of just getting impatient that like I might just run Cass versus Ahsoka.
Well, what's the upside? I'm sorry, like you're saying I might do it, and you're saying without the FTC. So what's the upside to that? What are you using in its stead? Where are you
The upside
using
is
the FTC otherwise?
The upside is the FTC overrides all the team's normal gameplay, and the team's normal gameplay is extremely fun to me. So I want to play the real Swogga, not the 3-month propped up. Kind of make it so that nothing really matters, just spread undermine and gain some turn meter.
Would that hurt you, though? Doesn't she counter turn meter gain? Or am I thinking of something else?
I mean, it hurts you. It doesn't kill you.
True.
Yeah, I thought it'll take you to 1, but it won't kill you.
I don't know if we could afford that where we play.
I will look forward to seeing Fatal try it. I'm hoping that when you're not getting Erodiums, now that you're up closer this way, Fatal, that you will have mostly not cheesers, but I don't want to speak out of turn because I know what
Your lips to
surrounds
God's ears.
Yeah,
Uh,
I know what surrounds us. Yeah.
If I'm fighting you, you're a cheeser in my eyes.
Fair.
That's how this new system works.
It's fair. If you're not an Erodium, I assume you're a cheeser. Fair.
Hey, I'll stop calling you a cheeser when I don't get to post scores that I would get against the Rhodiums. How about that?
Yeah,
Brutish. Yeah. All right. No other comments there then on the Ahsoka? Going once, going twice. Next question. Does Pirate King Hondo still have a place on defense? Yes, that is the big question when, as we've discussed here in the show, it does look like the Django-Cron had a manhandle it. So if it is on, maybe you set another tantalizing, juicy target in front of it to draw the Django. What do you guys think?
As
So
always,
many teams were killing him though before.
well, yeah.
That
It's
I
one of those.
think that's the problem.
Yeah, it's like TJ and I talk about this is the Jabba problem. Yes, it has a place on,
Yeah.
or previous to the Night Sister nerf. It's like, yes, Hondo has a place on defense. You probably shouldn't be setting it. You should probably find something better. The problem is there isn't anything better, and unless you're saving it specifically for something, slam it in front of Fleet and make them kill it with something.
It is incredible to think about the Underman. Take a Cron that's got some defense on it so that you can endure, and anybody that you do lose, you have the survivability to make it with Pirate King to the ultimate, bring them back. That is tempting offer.
Yep.
Not something I'm practiced in, but something that is maybe tempting.
Hondo Brutus Vane, have fun beating the shit out of most teams that are going to go down on the board.
I just got to remind, whenever questions like this come up, again, you got to look past 65. Like, whatever you're replacing Pirate King Hondo with is probably going to be a lot easier to undersize.
That's also true.
That's my problem with it, is that this without the accessibility of the Vangcron and stopping you from the stuff, you're just gonna outspeed them. And then as long as your damage ramps better, because like this is back to
We do still
the
have
new
Dark
Bad
Side
Batch.
turn meter though on this yellow green set. We still do have
But
that.
I could like Bad Batch feels like it's 100% on the menu to just destroy this setup. Now it's just like all of these things start to come up for 4 good banners. I'm not talking about the setup. I would give Fatal more towards the 66, but just if you wanted to play it safe, it's like Bad Batch. It's got bulk. Bad Batch is going to eat that up, man. There's just nothing to stop it down. And I guarantee you're going to find post week 1, we're going to find things that are going to be like, oh, this is an easy 67 now.
I mean, can you do crazy things with Hondo and like maybe put like a Zalbar with the team? I know it destroys synergies, but like make sure Vane keeps that taunt, can't get stunned, but that's shut down anything. Like, I wonder if there's any crazy things you can do with like that.
Vane is, I mean, outside of that Datacron that just expired, he's just great at being a taunting brick that debuffs off his allies. But like when he doesn't have taunt, he's like, "Oh no, you've debuffed me. Whatever shall I do?" That's it's not really a problem for him to get around being debuffed. I feel like he has a cleanse. There's also the cleanse off of PKH middle. He ends up having taunt, readily enough most of the fight. You'd have to make a pretty deliberate effort to keep him off, keep it off him. So
I was thinking
I
the
don't know.
buff immunity from like maybe like Malicos Maul, maybe. Just guessing, but like that's just me thinking out loud. I'm trying to find a use for him where maybe he could have a use on defense.
I think if I cared, I'd put Quiggold down because I don't really have any plans for Maz this season. In fact, my plans for Maz this season are in the trash can.
The unfortunate thing I'll say for Pirate King, because I was looking at data, just like trying to remember what the hell had been happening on my defense. We had set 25, of course. We had Pyrocrons with Hondo 9. We had Veinecron. We have never had a normal Pirate King Hondo season yet.
Yeah.
This is going to be, I think, a market. I mean, he's down to normal now, or as normal as things are now, but it's like pretty normal, right? Like we're talking DSTM plus stats is like that's about baseline. Keep your expectations low, but also like I'm gonna start championing that. I think people are undervaluing a class of teams that I want to call the line holders. Of just like, look, man, does Bad Batch 2 beat Pirate King Hondo and play correctly this season? Yeah, probably. Is it going to be a 65? I think on average, probably not, especially not in most people's hands. Like, and even in my hands, I practice that shit more than everyone, and I still think it's like gonna be iffy at best to be a 65. And like, does that mean the man needs to go away on defense? It's like, yeah, it's a small margin if it's like -1 to -3. That could still add up, especially if you're talking efficiency versus efficiency.
Yes.
Like JMK. I was like really happy with JMK on defense last season, but now, hey, Balin Cron's gone. Like, oh man, is my JMK just always going to get Balined? I looked at the data. That man averages a 62. I don't give a fuck if you Balin it out. Like, yeah, put the Balin in the bag. Get like what? We're talking 6 banners for free just off of 2 battles. You're going to take your comfort food, and I'll take my lead. Like, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, Hondo's basically in the same realm as Jabba. Like, you have to set something. You're going to be hard pressed to undersize them for amazing banners. So,
yeah, that's fair. So, yeah, I think that. So I think we're saying there is still a fate. It's about what you could set that could actually be better, and that is what is the single greatest challenge of top end Grand Arena in 5 versus 5 is exactly. That's all. Well, can any team have a role on defense in the sense that if you're able to set up the right choices for your opponent, then you can get away with murder. With what you can set.
I honestly do think that Vexitron made an interesting comment about Leia on defense earlier. Not the comment itself, but if you poke Hondo, it opens you up to put like JMK or SOK or Leia or multiples of those on defense.
Yeah.
And still get good banners on offense.
You can post them all and still get good banners on offense. Yeah,
but that's fair. That's fair. But you get the point I'm trying to make is that you had him being back to the baseline level actually gives you more options, which is really cool. Whereas before it was, this goes bottom front and your opponent has 2 things to try to beat it. Right? This opens up your ability to customize your defense, find new things that work, etc. And I think that's cool. I probably won't be doing any of it, but that sounds cool.
Every time people would look at a situation like this and overreact and be like, oh shit, he has a counter now. Satele beat Stranger. I fought 0 Strangers that season. You know what I did instead? I took my Satele and rammed it up their ass and got an advantage off of it. It's just like, and I can tell you some of those matches for a fact, is like, if they had Stranger down, I would have lost. Genuinely, I would have been a team short, like things just didn't line up for me elsewhere, I would have lost. But because they put up so little pressure elsewhere, I was able to get away with it. That it's like, yeah, man,
that one.
You
100% have to agree too. That is exactly what it was. So if we're going from that direction, 100% agree with Fatal. I can't put Stranger because they'll just Satele that. So you just go Satele something else for good banners, and it goes, what is it, 66 to 67, because it's really a 3-man or 4-man team depending on what you get away with, and especially right now. So if you don't pull whatever it's going to be, make them really work for it. It just goes to the other side.
You're fair. Okay, next question. Yeah, let me pull this up. Yeah, so some of these we've already covered in the course of the show. Does Django have a place in 5 vs 5 on offense or defense? The short answer is technically both, but on defense, it's probably still going to get, readily beaten by something like JMK. And the question is, are you able to punish that? Or are you going to just use it on offense? Because apparently it can take on, the likes of Pirate King and others. I think Vex mentioned Leia. So short answer is both. Next, what beats Slacker as we can expect him more on defense now since he isn't locked into a counter-specific team? I mean, classically, JMK and Bane are both pretty reliable counters. Anything else immediately jump to mind for you guys?
Yeah, I post that's okay a lot, and everyone's default has been JMK. I mean, old classics are like Bane is a more recent classic, and then I believe I've done JML versus SLK recently, and that is like, it's harder now. Like it is absolutely a build quality check, but it is still doable as long as you come correct. It's just, yeah, make sure you come really correct. Make sure that you're good on your fundamentals, and yeah, probably don't make it your first bet unless you're very confident in your JML skills.
Aside from that novel JML counter, is there anything else you guys thought jumps out at you for taking care of a slacker if you see it?
And JMK probably still works.
Yeah, covered that. Yeah, JMK and Bane also.
Sorry, I got pulled away.
You son of a bitch. All right.
Those would be my go-tos.
I think we're covered.
Bane is probably like my go-to.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm scrolling the lists. Is Steel immune to stun? I don't recall.
She herself, I think.
Yeah, I think she is, but with the Datacrons, yes, because she'll start taunting.
I guess okay is she's immune or the team is immune? Because that's okay ignores taunt, I believe, when he has advantage with Dark Ray.
I think Revan's immune to stun as well.
Yeah.
I thought they were immune to stun while she was taunting.
I'm saying she or they. I don't remember. Either way, it's like maybe she could get it done. SOK is...
Oh, yeah, if all allies are Old Republic, all allies are immune to stun.
Yeah, even in 3s, once you pull the cooldown, it was super easy. At 5s, it's gonna dunk.
Yeah, you just Datacron, you get all the extra survivability. You just mark and move on.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, SOK has got counters, but he's definitely like one of the feistier GLs still.
And with Hondo having cheaper answers, I think I plan to set SOK a couple of times at least.
All right, next one. This one's from K2SO. Is there any Galactic Legend team that doesn't die on defense to a non-Galactic Legend team this season?
No. I just looked through. Nope.
I was gonna say I'm trying to think this through, and you have upwards and 2, including Stranger. So that it's kind of like the sky's the limit right now, and you have damage reduction on Old Republic. So whatever one doesn't take care of, there's bound to be another off meta that's gonna, I guess, air quote off meta that's gonna take care of it.
Yeah, it's like SOKR, nope, Ray, nope, JML, nope, C, nope, JMK, nope, LV, nope, Jabba, nope, Leia, nope, Ahsoka, nope, Hondo, nope.
Mm-hmm.
They all die.
All right, let's see here. Next item from Yamash. Queen Amidala squad continued offensive weapon, or could they have a place on defense? We did discuss that briefly. There could be, but maybe only as a draw. Maybe as a, I know you're going to do Bane here. I know you're going to do Lord Vader here. Something like that. Comments on that, guys? Queen?
I think if you're fighting someone who's willing to play the video game and engage with you in good faith, I think you could set her on defense. But the vast majority of people aren't trying to engage in good faith. They're trying to cheese.
Yeah, I was going to say, there was more strength in 3s because it was a much tighter board. When you open the door to 5s, it's giving way to a lot more of the old stuff that was working right now. And we still have some pretty strong Rebel setups. And with Luthien most likely going with Cassian, I still see. I still don't see why Saw is going to be able to do work as well. So it feels like having those 2 additional slots actually hinders the Queen versus helps it.
Sure.
I will just say, if you have a current or previous set that has bulk level 3 with good crit damage, and if you have like the long text GR6, bonus points for that. Much better than Luminarchron. Like, if you just run QA trio plus like Cam plus something like GMY, you're doing really good work already there. Like, yeah, it's a strong fundamentals team. Whether or not it'll take Bane, I almost maybe just depends more on what your opponent chooses to use with Bane. Like, I've had some people's Bane just die on the spot doing that. Yeah, it's really just kind of up in the air for what your opponent chooses to use.
I would definitely think if you're placing Queen, you're doing it with the GR long text. I would almost think that needs to be like an exclusive partnership, like without exception.
I think if you're going to expect the Lumicron, it's almost overwhelmingly going to be with Stranger.
Yeah, I agree.
Yep. And by the way, who's your Jedi with Stranger? You just sticking with Xeris?
Umi.
Oh, sorry, you're Ufu.
Do you think the Mace Gron can cause issues for Bane with Queen? At all? Or not really?
My concern, Mace has to have the taunt for it to start, right? Like, it gets TM off of QIA opener. Like, maybe, like, if it happens, then sure, it could maybe sound problematic, but Bane just does enough control freak shit that I'm, like, not sure if the train can actually get started.
I have to say, I have a new respect for Master Qui-Gon after this Kron. I thought I had Queen. Not to like go on a rant, not really a rant, but I did Great Mothers, killed Padawan Obi-Wan. I said I have this in the bag, and Master Qui-Gon hit harder than him and destroyed my whole team. So
I believe there's a guy who gets on a particular podcast for a particular thing who has an affinity towards Master Qui-Gon and all the greatness that it can bring. I don't know the guy. I heard he's got a fatal approach to how he plays the game, but it's crazy how much that man or individual, I guess we want to.
Yeah, one might say he wrote the playbook on Queen.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Somebody talked about what this guy's capable of, and what was the number on your Relic 10 to call it fatal? When was Master Qui-Gon your Relic 10? Was that number 2? 1, 3? I can't remember. It was like one of your very first ones.
My guild debut do too, but it was like number 5, I think. It was like JML, Marin, DR, and then like someone or Qui-Gon. I don't remember which. Oh, Wrecker was probably number 4. Then Qui-Gon 5.
That's what I'm saying. But it was like the one guy's been living in that world of the spotlight has been fatal for I don't know how long. And all it did to me, Vex, when I watched that fight get you was, I think all of the things that were being said came to fruition. Because trust me, I saw that and I believe we all bled with you, watching what you were willing to try to accomplish with that.
I thought I won. I was so comfortable, but
until you weren't. And then that was an uh-oh moment. Yes, the oh shit hit the fan.
It's that meme with the old guy that's like, oh no, I called the cops, but not for me. Kind of thing.
No, yours was the Morgan Freeman coming over the 1MC to tell you that he knew he fucked up.
Yeah.
The thing I will point out, that Qui-Gon was not modded for damage at all.
He wasn't. He was one of your guildmates, right? Was it Maximus?
Yeah. I think it was. I don't remember who he was. I apologize. That was not.
It was like full health.
Yeah, it was like speed health, and he was throwing out that much damage. So like, imagine if you full commit.
Use a monster.
You didn't even play the full game, is what it was. Vex started playing the game, and then didn't realize he wasn't playing the full game. He was playing checkers. He jumped, and then said, "Oh no."
All right, let me move through this next
and
couple.
To answer your question, Tass.
Yeah,
that I've been tried to answer a few times already. Probably just Visas because Cal's probably better on the Seer team.
Okay, fair. All right, let's get to the next question here. Is Ray better off with the Lumicron, the Sorticron, or another? So yeah, I think Fatal made an interesting case for considering the Zalbarkron. Sortie is kind of what I initially thought to stick with her. I've got a couple of us here on the show saying that it could you can easily control and otherwise manhandle Sortie such that she may never actually get that big nuke off. And depending on what you're using, you might be able to blunt the impact of that. The Lumi FDC, I think, would only be worthwhile if you saw that your opponent was married to using Queen with the with the Lumi FDC themselves. That is to say, without anything else increasing their bulk, without their survivability. That's where I have seen Queens lose. That is, they're just not actually able to take any true damage. If you don't have any bulk, maybe, but that seems one of the weakest options because we've already said here the Queen, if you're running it with the light side bulk, the Galactic Republic long text, and then lots of crit damage, maybe health where you don't get crit damage, you're gonna be okay against Lumicron. Anything you guys want to add on that?
Yeah, I would say that the only time I would use if my opponent was going to use Lumicron and not a bulk level 3, I'd prefer the Sorticron because it's going to actually dent them. The bend into Sortie AoEs is probably enough to maybe snipe off a side.
Would add on, yeah, man. Look, Pow. We as we already kind of said, Pow, not the best damage dealer in the team. His job is to live. Like, give him damage. Yes, make sure he's solid. But I've said it plenty of times on this podcast already. But I'm still seeing people lose, so I'm beating the dead horse. Health primaries, 3 of them. Put them on. Thank me later. You won't die.
Yes.
On POW?
Yep.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You mentioned earlier about your POW getting sniped by Ben. That's your out.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I did this a while ago. I have had some close calls since I've made this change, but no losses. Check this. Look at this. Look what we got going. That's your 3 health primaries, crit damage triangle.
Yeah, that's about what I have.
Offense too.
It can be done.
Like, his mods are great. That like, if you're like, man, I don't want to sacrifice POW offense, you don't have to. This is like perfect evidence that you don't have to. Even if you don't have mods this crazy, put the mods on. Put them on. Your POW will live. You're not gonna you are playing survival horror, and a lot of people don't realize it yet. That it's your POW versus their Ben solo. And if, like Tass said, if they've got the Lumicron, their Ben solo is going hunting, and the only guy who can get got is your POW. And like QA gives you crazy amounts of health gain. All you got to do, just provide a little foundation. It'll run away with it. You'll be good.
Yep.
The difference is I have a defense set on my POW, but that's the only difference for me.
This is the only time I'm ever going to say this. Don't do defense.
Yeah, I didn't have the health sets with the.
Yeah, it happens.
It's absolutely unacceptable.
Steal from
minute
Ray.
Fatal has told you don't do defense, you automatically would salute and listen. Respect this name.
Steal from Ray. She probably has like health and offense.
Ray
Very
also
big brain, I gotta say. Very big brain.
Ray's mods also matter so much less these days, it feels.
That's what I'm saying. Just take her mods off. Fuck it.
Mm-hmm. Modless.
I don't know what heresy we're
Yeah, you can't. You're on the wrong show in the wrong place. You said no mods. The fuck you said?
We don't
absolutely modless. Whirlwind will. Here's the difference. Whirlwind will do 15 total more damage if you put mods on.
No, I don't like it. I hate it. All right. Let's see here. Okay, that's good. All right, let's take a look at the next couple questions because I don't want to keep us forever, guys. So I want to make sure that we can get around to takeaways in a reasonable amount of time. We'll sample some more of these questions here from Smedge. This is a good one. Would Asajj and her level 9 have any use on a Great Mother's team versus Galactic Legend Ahsoka? Her Omicron could be interesting with the healing immunity, extra stats, and turn meter gain. Well, turn meter gain specifically not going to be great for your banners, right? And I guess traditionally when you're pulling this off with Great Mothers versus Ahsoka, assuming that you pass the essential checks to it, you're usually talking about a full banner fight, right? So bringing Asajj would necessarily, I think, put you -1 just for the act of bringing her.
Does she bring a large chunk of accuracy and crit chance? Because if the answer to that's no, just use the Death Trooper and use DTP and Night Trooper.
Yeah, that's kind of the summary point. Is I don't think it's better than just the full traditional team. What say the rest of you though?
I mean, I didn't even think about this until this question, but think about the turn order, right? Great Mother's Doom, Bless. Ahsoka takes a turn. You get the bonus turn from Asajj. She does the middle ability. Could she possibly remove Turn Meter from Ezra? 50% chance? With her regular ability, the Strike Fear?
Well,
If
remember,
Ezra's only
whenever an
defense.
enemy takes it.
Right, so
Ahsoka goes first.
Ahsoka goes.
Yeah.
Triggers the bonus turn.
Then you can
She
dispel
removes,
it. But
which
you
removes Turn Meter. Maybe against the fast Ezra, if you're worried about the speed check. That's also a coin flip. It's 50% chance, and it could get resisted, I think. But
so what? You're
On
dropping
average,
Night Trooper for this.
You expect to be faster anyway, but maybe the Omicron AoE, it shreds how much health? 4% max health. That's real difference maker, that one. It'll bring their Ezra down by 4%, so your spirit can
I mean, 4% on a
result.
health-based character ain't bad.
It ain't bad, but is that doing more than like a Night Trooper or DTP AoE?
Yeah, that's what I agree. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's a shame. Like I say this is a gimmick level 9 just because it really feels like that. It's like it's like a trick a spring-loaded something popping out of a can type of thing is what it feels like.
Yeah, I feel like Great Mothers isn't going to be super consistent versus Ahsoka this season. So taking in a suboptimal version of it just seems like a no.
doesn't Ezra have crazy high tenacity too? So even landing a stun on a basic is not likely.
Her basic's also like a 50% chance to land a stun, I want to say.
Yeah.
Specifically against that setup when there's bulk and other things and crit avoidance going on in the world right now. And it really does feel like the sum of its parts, right? All 5 feel like they have a specific use for that team when you throw it against it. I
So
think
you mean to say that you would keep with a full traditional team?
not when it comes down to Ahsoka versus that setup. I feel like everything we've ever done, and it's been talked about to death with that setup, and I know you love it, Vex. Trying to throw in, I threw my bonus turn for this character, for this older character too, is going to have lower stats against basically a brick wall, and saying, maybe I'll scrape you, feels touchy.
All right.
Yeah, no, I get it. Yep.
All right. Next question here. Cassian FDC. On defense, Cassian lead with his usual team, or Saw lead with Cassian, Clea, Luthen, and a fifth such as Krex. So I remember, that week 3 testing people were doing against Cassian FDC was underwhelming for results that last week of 5 vs 5. Any new thoughts on that? Does anybody actually see some real chops to Cassian lead or Saw lead with the Rebel Fighters and the FDC this season?
I like the idea of putting like Baze and Krex on the team possibly, because Cinta and Vel they don't feel like they do enough to me. So maybe Chirrut Baze or like Krex Baze. I know Fatal mentioned was it going into last season? I don't know. At some point on one of these podcasts he mentioned Baze having like good synergy with the Datacron. And Tass watched Baze like one shot somebody on me threes. So
that was me.
If you AoE against Baze, or not AoE, but if you dispel against Baze or make a bunch of buffs, or well, it has to be both. You have to dispel to get undermine and then make buffs. Like QA does it at the same time. You go by. It's a bunch of Terminator to Baze, a bunch of true damage to you. That's the trap. That's the bit.
Yep.
Is this still talking Saw lead though, or are we still talking Cassian?
Oh, Cassian lead.
Because you're talking about taking advantage of the level 9 effect.
Saw plus the 2 girlfriends, Cinta and Vel. That might be a mace or Beck thing if people are still setting that shit.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
Because-
fundamentally,
Sorry.
no, real quick. Fundamentally, your job is just to get Undermine out. So, like, Saw can still do that, right? If Luthen and Clay are there and Luthen does a special or something, it's just easier to do with Cassian.
Yeah, and I think Saw plus Vel plus Cinta plus 2 probably beats something. Again, like Fatal said, people are just setting terrible teams. Saw is probably beating something on your. I don't know what the banners are like. I don't know if you can underman it, but people are going to be.
To the patron question, I will be using Saw Luthen and I will be using Cassian lead. And I will not say why. Well, okay. Cassian lead, Cass Baves. Saw lead, I won't say.
Okay. Fair. We'll see. We'll see what happens here in this first week. All right, next question. Does Balin have any defensive viability with the Marok level 9? What would be the ideal level 6? The level 3 probably being Darkside turn meter and the team comp. So, don't have it immediately top of mind. Eighth Brother. No, that's Eighth Brother. Where is Marok? I have one rattling around. There it is. Whenever an enemy is inflicted with Purge, all Inquisitorious allies recover 10% health. Whenever Marok assists, he deals 2% bonus damage for each stack of Soldier of Fortune. That's actually going to be hard. Whenever a stack of Purge is dispelled from an enemy, inflict 2 stacks of Purge on that enemy, and Marok gains advantage for 1 turn. Whenever Marok scores a critical hit, all Inquisitorious allies gain 5% defense, stacking max 100% until the end of the encounter. So, you can of course have one use of his special reset into another, and that's 25 then 50% defense stacked almost back to back potentially. In addition, all the damage. I would assume you're of course still running the long text Inquisitorious level 6. It's an Inquisitorious set. I don't know what else you would otherwise choose. Turn meter is probably the default. I like, crit damage helps all of our attackers. Armor penetration doesn't help Marok in particular. Offense is okay. Defense is better. Yeah, this is kind of a mess of a Datacron, but I remember I didn't have a lot of luck rolling the 3 and 6 the way I wanted on this one, so it cost me, and I couldn't optimize the stat rolls too much further after that before I ran out of material. But does this make it viable on defense? I guess the ultimate question is, does this itself stop you from being successfully able to do JML? So let's check that. 570 plus 40, 610. So if you had a 360, I don't think he has a speed bonus from his lead. So divided by 0.75 for a 25% turn meter gain makes Balin 480 at best. So quite a ways short of stopping JML from getting his push out.
So the short answer is no. The long answer is you have to set something on defense, and similar to Queen, this has undersized opportunities on offense. But if you're looking for something to set, Balin, Merrick, Shin, Hondo +1 is probably more than reasonable, because if you're JMLing it, you're probably getting like 66 tops, and that's probably one of the better banner wins against it. So again, it boils down to you have to set something, and this is something I'd be willing to set. Although again, you can 3-man stuff on offense with it, so the polarity is not there like it is with Queen, right? This more leans defense for me. But the short answer, is it viable? No. Will you set it? Probably. Or is it settable? Yes.
Yeah,
Viable,
it is
no.
technically settable, but it's at a low point compared to where it was. And it's only because of that FDC that really gave it some heft to being able to stand against JML. And even then, that was mostly just in 5 versus 5. I know people were still doing JML against the FDC 3 versus 3. So, I'm sorry, what does the rest of the room have to say about this one?
I feel like I know I've mentioned this like multiple times tonight, probably because it's such a interesting cron, but like Zalbar is a mercenary, right? Wonder if that's better. Wonder if that's better than the Marok 9. Maybe. I mean,
yes.
People are
I
gonna.
like that.
I think Balin can get stunned without the level 9, right? I think Kylo can poke him and he gets stunned. Maybe Kylo can't stun him anymore?
Immune to buff immunity and stunned. Yeah, immunity trumps like, unresistible. Yeah.
So that's something to think about. I don't know if it's going to stop JML, but pretty sure when they attack out of turn, they're all getting inflicted with dots, right? Because the Zalbar's unique, or am I thinking of something else?
It's his basic that inflicts dots. Zalbar.
Isn't
he
it with
attacks
his
out of
Omicron?
when he attacks out of turn, he does AoE
Oh,
dots.
when he attacks out of turn. Okay, that's what it is.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say the Zalbar level 9 is better.
Yeah, that's insightful. I like that one. That immunity to stun is pretty nice. That is pretty nice. Okay, next one. Queen Amidala with her Lumi focused Datacron, Lumi, and Cam is a beast on offense, but probably Bane kills it on defense because of all the buffs. We definitely covered that. Yes, it's exactly that. What
Lumi's
queen?
bad, don't do it. Bulk
Yeah,
level
what
3.
queen team comp / data combo would counter Bane? Yeah, Fatal already mentioned it. Classically, it'd be Cam and Grandmaster. Cam to help with the damage throughput, Grandmaster to further take advantage of the same type of modding that you've put on Master Qui-Gon if you've done that, and therefore taking advantage of Cam. But also, the Foresight is kind of a pain in the dick for Bane to deal with. So that's the classic anti-Bane comp.
Possibly Mace if it lines up.
Sure, I've
Could
seen
be
that
an
in
option.
the past as well. Okay, next one. What to do with pirates? Offer on defense and what Datacron setup? Well, yeah, we spoke about that earlier. That was definitely a topic we covered. We said that while it's certainly at the weakest point that we've ever seen it so far, it's probably going to be one of your better options to set on defense because you do have to set something, and it's not likely to get seriously underbanned, if at all. So that it's possibly still one of your better choices. Of course, you can exploit the revive mechanic and use it on offense to get an over 65 banner clear in some spots. But the rub is, if that's coming up, what else? What are you setting down in its place? That is not going to set your opponent up for the same advantage. And as far as a Datacron setup, I think Darkside Turn Meter is still probably the best way to do it. But feel free to correct me, all of you fine gentlemen.
No, and I'll just add that with the bulk level 3, Maz is probably just going to beat Lord Vader without quick hold, so that frees him up as well.
Sure. All right. Next question here from user. Any stranger composition or cron that might stop Satil? Yes, we did talk about that. It would be the Lumicron. That's potentially gonna disrupt their protection, and we're not 100% sure. We suspect that when the protection is disrupted, it's going to prevent you from getting your assisting true damage on the marked target, if not stopping Satil's third from doing the big nuke itself. So, if based on recent history, seeing how the now expired Wampacron helped strangers stand up to Satil, that's probably the closest you can come to. Yeah. See here. Is the new Bad Batch going to work on Pirate King now that the Vaincron is gone? I mean, take it away, Fatal. What you got to say there?
Could be yes, but this is kind of like what I saw at Pirate King Hondo. This is the kind of the first time since like set 24 that we've had a normal functioning Bad Batch, so the training wheels are off. It very much depends on your fundamentals, like fundamental understanding of how to play them. The fight has some very specific pacing, and it's like, it feels weird to call it technical now that teams like Cassian exist, but it's still like pretty technical compared to your average fight that like, yeah, there's a lot to be thinking about. There's a lot of like, do I want to kill Vayne fast or do I want to kill him slow? Am I sniping him once or twice for 2 armor shreds? Like, yeah. I mean, at the very least, if you plan to try it, just make your record as good as possible. That's like true for just about every Bad Batch matchup, unless it's like punching down, like beating QA, GM, Bale, and all that. But even then, having a good record is still helpful. He's one of the best R10s in the game if you're able. I believe you
The
might be
answer is
muted,
yes,
Chris.
but please know what you're doing.
Fantastic.
Remo-
Yeah, sorry, I didn't realize I had my mic muted there a second. Let's take the next question here from Shake23501. Afra versus Java. Dagger said it's bad. Cass said it's good. Details on which it is. I think the phrasing I used was well qualified applicants, but go ahead, Dagger.
Oh, I was going to say, it was a super dunk the last 5v5 because we had the FDC.
Mhm.
And if you look at 3v3, it was a no-go. So I told Shake it'd be a hard row to hoe. I would make sure that you like you said, Tass, basically the same thing was if you know what you're doing and you feel like you're up to the task, give her a rip.
Yeah, I
The only
expect
thing
it will work.
So the only thing I'm going to give you is we now have potency back in your DCs. So the check comes away from that as well. I mean, obviously we have turn meter, but that potency is always going to be one of the big checks that came back from the Afra. And having those extra characters aligned to it really helped out.
Fair enough. Okay. Next question here from Banja. What is your favorite team currently to use? Just one single team, and we'll do a quick roundtable on this one so we don't spend 10 minutes on just this question. Who wants to step up? Who's got a tip of the tongue?
Django
Ewok
Fett.
and Conquest are amazing.
Okay, Vex said Django Fett. Dagger said some bullshit about Conquest. What was that?
I said Ewoks. They're super fun to use in Conquest.
Dagger's a deeply unserious person, and you couldn't take him seriously.
No, have you go turn the sound on and use your Ewoks, dude? That shit is awesome.
You lost me to turn the sound on.
Okay.
Deeply unserious.
No, it is. I can tell you right now that I legitimately ran my Ewoks down to 0% stamina twice. 20 whole battles with those little fuckers. Just listening to them.
Dreadful.
Anyways.
Dreadful. Fatal, how about you?
Cassian,
yeah, you're just really enjoying that one. Fair enough. Good project.
They're just so much under the hood. There's so many, like, team just offers you a lot of decision making, and they're high impact decisions that like drastically change the flow of the fight. I liked Bad Batch too because they felt technical, and then they made Cassian, which makes Bad Batch look simple comparatively. I'm more like this. This is some good ass food.
Fair enough. DJ, how about you? What do you got?
Yeah, I would want to say Queen, man, but yeah, I kind of have to go with Vex. Not even the Django, just the bounty hunters. I fucking love Asajj. She's just such a great character, man. So it's made fighting with her and the team a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm. Sasha, are you able to answer? Sasha said he might have a phone call coming in, so might not be able. But that's okay. We'll come back around him if he's able to hear us. Vexitron, how about you? Your single favorite team to use? You already meant, I guess, yeah, you did.
Just because of the current Datacron, but yeah, Django at the moment.
Fair enough. And that, I guess, leaves me, geez. Kind of tough to think about. Malicos is still probably my single favorite ability to use, but I do note that I used him less last couple of seasons. Kind of tough to think about in those terms. Favorite team to use, man.
Any answer is going to be deeply unserious because you don't play GAC anymore.
Shut up. I guess I would have to say probably Afra, because still making most of a team vaporize with the BT1 flamethrowers is the closest thing to Malicos that I actually used more than Malicos. So, leave it around. All right, fun question. Another interesting. What team do you think is overlooked in the current meta, either on offense or on defense? Any one particular thing that is an unsung hero?
I think Jedi Mace is unexplored and might have potential that hasn't been realized. I mean, at least for me, as far as I'm aware, no one else was doing it. Like,
or
literally
what? What do you mean for what? JMM for
I don't know
what when you say unexplored.
I don't know for what matchup, but I'm saying I don't think anyone has performed a Mace to his highest capabilities. And I'll start by saying that I'm pretty sure that Jocasta is ass, and that she probably needs to get benched.
So, okay, so if you were gonna make an effective use of JMM on offense, you just wouldn't even bring her then.
The team has problems staying alive, and the team runs 3 attackers. Somebody's got to go. I don't think it's Depa or Mace, and I think Jocasta unfortunately just has some design issues.
Well, they were supposed to update her kit when Mace came out because her Omis were supposed to go with her team, not just her, and they never updated her.
I came out with a conquest video today going over my rankings, and she was second to last. Someone commented that she's supposed to get a bonus turn when she gets her rifle form. Is that a bug?
No, she gets
100% speed, I think.
Yeah. Well, it's that the problem is that she dies with doubt because she gets her cooldowns increased, or she just gets feared in some matchups. I'm pretty sure she's working as intended. She's just not good.
Is 100% speed technically a bonus turn?
No, like literally, she moves twice as fast for 1 turn.
Yeah.
Her biggest problem is because she gains all the stupid small amounts of turn meter and gets the double speed, she just falls completely out of sync with her team, and her health reduction only lasts 1 turn. So like it's extremely likely that whoever you reduce is going to lose that reduction before anyone else can whack them.
Yep, it's really tough to time that for any serious benefit. I mean, if you were going to do it, to Fatal's point, it would be on offense because it's very easy to game around hacking into it.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's the 501st. When I decide to use that team, it almost never loses. It's just bad banners.
501st Crex is also underrepresented right now, I would say.
That's also true.
Ooh, man, thanks for reminding me. What a solid counter for Queen. We were talking about Bane for it. I completely forgot the majesty that is Gas Crex versus Queen.
Not to beat a dead horse. Damage Qui-Gon with Gam beats Gas Crex.
Hey, there you go.
Yeah. The more you know.
I think for me, if I had to pick a team, and you guys have already been on the bandwagon for a while, but a team that I highly underappreciated, Bad Batch V2, by far the most interesting team that I completely didn't respect for a while, but they're really good. And I have to admit, Fatal saying that Batcher sucks and that OG Omega is better was definitely a game changer too.
It wasn't until Stranger that we really found a role. Sorry.
Stranger was necessary.
I'm sad that the doggy sucks. The doggy is such a cool kid.
Yeah, no, it's that Stranger example is exactly the sort of like that is the one situation that Batcher can handle that feels better than Omega.
Yeah.
Like if you normally want to drill the tank and drilling the tank is gonna fucking murder you, yeah, the dog gives you an out. And I can actually tell you, like I think Vertigo is still planning on trying that matchup and like has a turn order plan to be able to extend the Batcher mark. I don't really plan to do that. I'm just gonna try to mow through them if I do try the matchup. But like, yeah, the angle for finesse is still there. Like I give the dog a lot of shit just because people really hype the dog up, and I'm like, it's not even you all are crazy. It was just like just try Omega once and tell me she doesn't feel fucking sick. Right? Like so much dopamine given. But yeah.
I'm curious, not to dwell on this, but I'm curious if Batcher is going to be necessary for the Darth Vader Dual Zen battle to get Mark on Darth Vader Dual Zen, because when he has burning, he's losing his evasion, right? And then Crosshair can land the stun. So I wonder if you have to get past the Royal Guard taunt to get the mark on him. That's just me thinking out loud, but
yeah, maybe it depends on if it's 1 tank or 2. If they run 2 tanks and that can bounce you around, that's maybe a problem. If they like only run Royal Guard, I think you just drill the Royal Guard. And like, we're talking Bad Batch 2, but I'm talking Bad Batch 2 everywhere. The better your wrecker is, the more cushion you have, right? For whether it's lower relics than everyone else or anything. Like if you're trying Bad Batch 2 versus DVDE, that he is like the best tank in the game. Like no other tank is just like, you have to kill me. Right? So like, make sure that guy comes correct. Make sure he can just tank it out with DVD for a while. And like, you'll have an easier time buying time.
Makes sense.
Dig it. All right. Any other ones you guys wanted to mention? And somebody who hadn't answered yet about favorite team, Disused?
Obligatory CLS, favorite team in the game.
Fair. Very fair.
I used that team in Squad Arena from the moment it came out until they buffed SOKR.
Wookiees are unsolved, but definitely have their issues.
Fair.
It's a combo team that you gotta do your damn homework.
I feel like I've asked you this before. You don't have anything like an infographic about how you set that team up, did you?
No, and frankly, there are a lot of games that I'm working on right now that will be along at some point in the near future.
I've heard this before.
You've heard this before? That had really lofty goals. This is like very, very doable. It's already being
grounded.
done. No. If I put out a Wookiee guide, it would have caused more harm than good. Like fucking straight up. Just if you want to be a Wookiee enjoyer, you gotta do your homework. You gotta like make sure you know the match. If you crossed off all your T's, that nothing can stop that spirit bomb. When it hits, it hits. It looks cool as shit. But the wins make it look easy. The losses, of which there are many, is like, no, you're playing 2026 Galaxy of Heroes. You gotta do your legwork. You gotta cross those T's.
Fair. Very fair. All right, let's see. Next question here from user. Any crazy ideas for mixed or non-standard teams? So we're talking, combining two teams to make a super team. Truthfully, nothing like that really appeals to me because unless you're successfully able to get the right draw ahead of it, such teams usually shine if they are going to shine in the back wall. But again, only if you set the stage for it. So that's something that would end up being revealed to me when I have some data. That's not really a week 1 game that I'm going. That's a week 2, week 3 thing where I can see your tendency and I'm going to draw you into a situation where now, because I've concentrated this team together, you really only have one good counter to it. And what do you know? I've managed to pull it out of you up front. That would be the case for me to think about making a super team. But what say you guys?
If you were so inclined, this is a great season to throw Cat onto Ray.
There's maybe like through lines for like shock value of like some mix of LV, DVDE, or Sith or whatever combination. And it's kind of the same concern that happened like it was Planning Vex, where it's like I was feeling pretty good about the DVDE Savage, and it got a shock value holder too, but it was like, it just dies to Malgus. Like, all right, well, this is not nearly as saucy as it was hoped. Like, yeah, I don't know. Like,
sorry,
that was an accident, by the way. I didn't realize that part of the kit was turned off with Savage with the fear, I think.
Yeah, it was kind of just hoping that it wouldn't matter, but it very much did. Like, out of LV, DVDE, fucking Malicos Mall, like, just reopen the old scrolls. I don't know if that's just anything. Probably not. Again, like, maybe good for a shock value hold, if anything, and then it'll be revealed to be not nearly as good as the fundamentals.
There's also combinations of like Riva lead Starkiller or Riva lead Slacker or SOK with like Malicos. Like there's some like crafty shit you can do if you're so inclined. I don't know if any of it's better than like running stock versions of teams, but if you do enough scouting and you know what they're planning to use versus X or Y, you can. Like Cat can also go on Queen, I think. Like I'm just saying, like there's some interesting stuff you can do.
It feels like
sorry.
No, it feels like a lot of this season is less like super teams smashing two teams together and more so just like you've got a variety of power characters and it's like, okay, where do we decide where to put them? And that's not quite super team, but it almost kind of feels like super team status in terms of like some of the final results you can get if you're just trying to mess with a really specific thing. So like, not a satisfying answer, but it does feel like there is that sort of work being done on a smaller scale.
Yeah, not super team, but super team adjacent.
Wasn't gas causing issues for certain counter when you paired him with Stranger? The cooldown increase on Satil?
Yeah, if it landed on JKR, that could stymie your launch, and yeah, you put out from that. That was a thing I recall.
Also, gas on queen makes it viable again, makes it more viable against stranger because Starkiller can't crit.
Yeah, attacks out of turn can't crit.
Yep.
Yeah, but that's all I'm saying is like like Fatal said, like there's a bunch of characters, and if you're not planning to use 501st, Gas is a free agent. Use him.
Well, on this topic, there's a lot of people shitting on JMO lately, and it's like I get it, but also a lot of y'all haven't used JML gas, and it shows. You will need to take him off the 501st shit, like put him on speed set, give him 100% crit chance and some potency. Like it takes some elbow grease. JML gas is fucking sick. As like pick a matchup where gas can crit and increase cooldowns. Like, but yeah,
that's easily abused.
Yeah. I was telling Tass a while back that we may be getting closer to the gas and health mods build.
I'll be among the last to make the change
because of Queen and JMK. I find myself using gas many different places if I'm not using the 501st, and he is suboptimal in the defense protection build that I currently have him in for most of the places that I currently use him.
Yep, that's I think how I have him because I was also messing around with JMK gas.
Yep,
nothing there, but yeah,
very fair. All right, let's see here. Next question from Tumblo. Does Django go with Trench or Bounty Hunters? I know this is a Grand Arena podcast, but I would also like to hear what you think of in TW. So just real brief, which way would you lean? Which way would you lean for TW if you had to think about it? I naturally have no answer.
I would not use the Django-cron in TW, and I know that's not the answer you want, but the Trench level 9 is better, and Django's not usable anywhere else. Sorry.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Oh, I said Trench level 9 is better, and I wouldn't use Django anywhere else.
Fair.
His name is Admiral Trench because you only use him in Trench Wars.
Yeah, no. Shut. Yeah.
His name is not Admiral Gauntlet.
Fantastic.
Delightful. All right. Let's see. Do I have another good one? But
yes, Shake had another question. When are you going to send him that vault? He and his people were promised 3,000 years ago.
Yeah, not. So it never happened. So nothing to say. So Riva says, what are people planning to use to counter Queen if we're running a Galactic Republic wordy Mace Cron? So assuming Mace there as well. Seem to be brutal in threes for many of the normal counters. I know, Fatal, you've already mentioned here in a couple different ways that it can impede Bane, but I don't know that it would necessarily stop me trying.
Gas Cracks or Great Mothers.
Okay, go ahead.
Maybe even Bad Batch.
Vex was the one who mentioned it. I don't know if it'll work. In theory, like the fundamentals are there that it might work. I just, you have to be sure that Mace can have taunt and get it down to get it rolling.
My daughter needed me there for a second. I figured you guys could have filled the silence for 10 seconds. Jeez.
Okay. I was looking at my internet was dead.
I checked mine too.
No, that's all on me. That's all on me. My daughter needed me a second, and let me think about this. Until slightly more than 24 hours from now, I'm still solo dadding it until Mrs. T gets back from Italy. So, complications are what they are. All right, that brings us to the end of Patron Questions. Thank you guys for the great questions. Thanks, of course, to my co-host for helping me digest all those. Let's take it back around to takeaways and final thoughts. Guys, we are less than 24 hours from Grand Arena Lock. We've talked about our preparations. We've got some plans clearly in mind. I am hoping I get a real bracket. As of this moment, I still haven't had any what I would consider like first response from CG, customer service, anything about that issue with me having a completely empty bracket and all of the associated issues. No rewards, no rewards for the week, and no ability to do Fleet Arena climb during that entire week either. Still no first word back from them, and I'm just hoping it doesn't happen again real soon because that sucked. And you know, with no kind of response at all, not knowing about any type of what I might be able to do. Is there anything I can do to see this less? Somebody to contact if it happens again? Nothing. Not even a first word. So I'm really just hopeful that I get real matches. And if so, perhaps they'll be more like the Sasha Aisha kind and less like the cheese kind. Because you guys have seen me sweat it out going for those couple extra banners and actually being able to win sometimes versus the Phantoms Menace guys that are getting the super, super high scores. But it's more stressful to play that way than it is fun. And so I hope for a bloodier future in week 1. How about you, Dagger? Your takeaways and final thoughts. What's on your mind heading into this first week?
In 5v5, the board is smaller, so I frequently, if I still have a 3v3 mindset where I end up reserving too many teams or thinking teams are air quotes untouchable because, I need a certain amount of teams. And it always turns out I have 5 good teams on the bench every time I finish my GAC rounds. So maybe that'll help other people kind of break out of that same habit. That being said, good work, Jalen Brunson. Knicks are champions. You are valid. Don't let the world gaslight you. Happy Pride.
Very fair. All right, over to you, TJ. Your takeaways, your final thoughts going into week 1.
Week 1, I think we just live in the same world. We'll see what we get to do. There's really no data, hopefully. It's a little less super teamy, I guess, whereas like we know Vayne goes down. So we'll get to see kind of how that's going to look. If the Pirate King does in fact make the 11, that goes on defense, or if you get to underman something on offense. Honestly, for my looking to 5s, I'm hopeful that Constable is fun. I know I'm going into week 2 with the thought, but just going into this season, love my Jawas. Tuskers are always good, so I'm going to live there in the hope that we get to do something fun with them, and that Cobb gets to do something great like Satil did.
Very fair. All right. Appreciate you. And on over to Sasha Aisha. Now, I know you may not be with us here. You did mention you might get caught up in a call, so we'll give you a few seconds to see if you're going to step in with your takeaways and final thoughts. Going twice. Sold. Down to Fatal. What do you got to say here, wrapping up, going into week 1?
I don't really know what to expect. I don't even really know how many matches I'm going to get to play, but yeah, I've decided that I'm going to climb. So we will see. I'll have to keep it on the lower end of risk, although there's some stuff I definitely want to try. So it seems like if I'm going to go through a Rhodium land, you kind of just have to make sure at all costs that you 3-0. The moment that you 2-1, you're only getting 1 win worth of climb per week, you're just in the sunken place forever.
That's the purgatory. Yes, you're right. You got to 3-0 your way out of it. True.
So we'll see. There is stuff I have cooked that I will absolutely be testing, and if it causes me to lose a match or two, like, fucking that's life, I guess. But this shit might be sick. So we'll see. Either way, damn it, I have not had a boring season ever since I switched to this playstyle, and that doesn't mean it'll never be boring, but I feel pretty confident saying I assume this one will be a fun one too. So looking forward to it. Twitch.tv/PlaybookTV, YouTube.com/ThePlaybook.
Appreciate it. Save me the trouble of asking. And of course, last but not least, our special guest, Vexitron. Thank you for sticking out with us here to the bitter end. I'm glad you had the time to be with us here today. Good long show. Hopefully you had fun being back again. And what are your takeaways and final thoughts now going into week 1?
Yeah, well, first of all, thank you again for having me. It just feels awesome to talk to players that have the same Grand Arena drive as I do. I know it's just a game, but I think you should have passion in whatever you do. So being able to chat with you guys about the different metas and all the stuff like that is really fun for me. But in terms of the season, my goal always in this game is to be the best version of me and try to be a consistent top 50 player. I still haven't hit that skill cap yet to try to get there. So for me, it's to set strong defensive teams while also trying to be as efficient as possible on offense with off meta or doing whatever I can to just out strengthen my opponent, whatever means possible. So first and foremost, have fun, try to be efficient, get holds, and yeah, YouTube /Vexitron and on Twitch as well.
Perfect. Beat me to it. Yeah. And anything else you wanted to shout out? This is your moment before we get ready to close up shop.
Yeah, no, if you guys want to check out my content, I'm on YouTube and Twitch. Obviously, Tass is the best player in the game in terms of content creators. I would love to be able to face him one day. We'll see. Probably never going to happen, but thanks for having this podcast and inviting me.
Oh, yeah. Always a pleasure. Look forward to having you again, man. Thanks for making the time, especially since I messaged you out, this morning on short notice. It just kind of occurred to me, we hadn't had a guest in a while. I think we were going to have enough time to afford a guest today. So you know what? Let me just see if Vex is available. And sure enough, you're able to fill in, on just hours of notice. So again, thank you really for making the time.
Of course, it was fun.
All right. Well, that's it. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in here to the bitter end. Of course, if you want to catch me here this week, then you already know I'm at twitch.tv/Tassenix. I simulcast from my YouTube channel, Tassenix Gaming, where if you've not been there before, check it out. A whole bunch of Slug-related content there that I think you'll be interested in. Anything you do enjoy over there, please give a like. Hit subscribe on the channel to see more. Follow me on Twitch. All fantastic ways to support the channel absolutely free. If you want to go above and beyond the call of duty to support the channel, there are a few ways to do so. I do have a Cash App that is $Tassenix. I do have a PayPal, which is tassenix@gmail.com. And if you're interested in some enhanced Grand Arena scouting power for yourself, early access to my content, including plotting and scheming, and a few other benefits besides, you may be interested in becoming a patron. Check out patreon.com/Tassenix. For any upwardly mobile Grand Arena player, there is something there of interest for you. If you got that drive within you to climb the ranks, it's a very motivated and highly active community of Grand Arena aficionados. So love spending time with the patrons in the patron chat. I have had a few folks hit me up recently for GAC and mod coaching, and they've all enjoyed it so much that they've really pushed me to make mention of it, that I even have it, because if you're not reading it here on this slide, I'm otherwise not drawing a ton of attention to it. So here I am, satisfying that request. Thank you to my patrons who have enjoyed it. And if you are interested, feel free to inquire. Reach out. Of course, $5 a month gets you into the Task House at VIP access level, where you get early access to the Plotting and Scheming show. That's coming out to our general audience Friday mornings at 8 a.m. Eastern, but patrons have it as early as Monday or Tuesday night, depending on when we sit down to record. That's giving you early insight going into the first round of the week. In addition, I will occasionally make patron-exclusive videos that you'll have at least a month ahead of the general public. And of course, dedicated text and voice chat on Discord, where I am usually lurking, so pop on in and say hi. Thank you so much to all of my patrons here at VIP Access. Now, moving on up to the $10 a month tier is VIP Access Plus, where you get a bundled Patreon access to me and to your choice of either OmegaBot or Hot Utils Patreon. OmegaBot's that tool that I highlight at the start of all of my Grand Arena streams. It's the one with the graphs that give you an easily understood sense of your opponent's offensive and defensive tendencies. Anybody can use that tool for free to scout their opponent's last week of Grand Arena history, but only patrons can build out a custom report with any number of weeks. You get a downloadable HTML version of that report with embedded links that, when you click them, takes you right back into Swugga.gg or Insight with data pre-sorted, just helping you further minimize and focus your scouting efforts. Alternatively, you might go for the Hot Utils Patreon, aka Chili subscription, which is your #1 tool for mass mod management and loadout creation. Nothing else lets you switch so easily between your Grand Arena, TB, TW, and Raid mods. You can use it like TJ and Fatal do to comprehensively remod your roster using the powerful automation feature. You can slice through hundreds of mods in seconds, help out your guild in TW, and so much more. No wrong way to go at VIP Access Plus. Thank you to all of my patrons subscribed here. Got a little kid making a bunch of noise in the back. Fuck this. At VIP Access Premium, that is $15 a month for the Double Bot bundle. So Patreon access for me, OmegaBot, and Hot Utils all in one price. Going out and getting those 2 bots anywhere else costs the same as this triple bundle, which is why so many of my patrons say it is one of the best values in the game. Thank you to all of my patrons subscribed here at VIP Access Premium. I know you guys appreciate the double bots. At the top of the list for my most generous supporters in Jesters Club Elite, the one, the only Nomad's Reaper, a madman who pops into stream from time to time and just goes crazy. Drops hundreds of subs, thousands of biddies, incredibly generous support over the years, setting hype train records time and time again. Thank you so much for everything, Nomads. Likewise, to Pills, who will occasionally pop in on some streams, mostly towards the end, and just surprisingly hand out 10 gift subs here. 100 gift subs there. I never know what to expect from Pills, but it is always appreciated. Thank you so much. Special thanks. First goes out to the Lost Womp Rat, one of my patrons who's gone above and beyond the Call of Duty, not just for me, but for my community and for many other Swugga content creators, helping us all out with our, back-end IT issues, whether that's with OBS, with stream elements recently breaking. He is just the man for helping us all out. So thank you so much, as always, for the time and attention, Womp. To Mrs. T, my wife, thank you for all you do. Even though you're still out in Italy here for the next day or so, you're usually here to help me out with said kid who's walking up to me as we speak with an empty cup asking for a glass of milk. You're usually here to help run interference for me, for said kid, or, just bringing me something to eat or drink while I'm on stream. I always appreciate you. Thank you for everything. And of course, to my co-hosts here on Plotting and Scheming, Dagger, TJ, Sasha, Aisha, and Fatal. Gentlemen, as always, I appreciate you guys making yourselves available every week for our show. I learn something every episode. Hopefully you guys feel the same, but it isn't about us. It is about our community tuning in, and they're letting us know, it's rare that a day goes by I don't get some type of DM, a comment on YouTube, something thanking us for things that people are picking up from our show. They're getting that actionable intelligence, applying it in their GAC rounds, and it's helping them win the day. So thank you guys, 3+ years on, for being part of our show. And I would not change a thing. Okay, we've made it around full circle back to the beginning. I've got a kid waiting in the wings, yearning for my attention, so it's about go time. Looking forward to seeing you all here this coming week on the Grand Arena streams. And until next time, it's been real. It's been awesome. It's been real awesome. Take care.